Zone.
Cloudy skies for your Monday. Cool today with a high of 48. Northeasterly winds up to 25 miles an hour. 50% chance of showers or an isolated thunder shower here this morning. A bit drier though for your afternoon. Cloudy to mostly cloudy skies overnight. A 30% chance of showers before midnight. Breezy. Cool with a low of 36. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV Newswatch 7.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Pyramid Roofing Time Saving Traffic Center. Hope you had a fantastic Easter. The roads are quiet in the Omaha Metro with no accidents or delays reported. We got major road work on 72nd. Northbound 72nd will be closed between F and I-80. There's also major road work on Saddle Creek and Leavenworth. Roadways reduced to one lane and you cannot turn left in any direction. Traffic flow seems to be fine at the moment. I'll keep you updated throughout the morning once traffic starts picking up. Be sure to buckle up and drive safe out there. I'm Joey Colbert.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
If you have a large amount of gold or precious metals and want the best price with no waiting, Saul's makes it easy and fast. Any amount of gold, silver, or jewelry, no limit, immediate payment. Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
Welcome to this episode of RV Ready, brought to you by Leach Camper Sales in Council Bluffs by Lake Manawa. Mother Nature.
Oh, I just had to call. We're getting things ready for everyone to head out camping again. There are so many things to see and do, and I know Leach Camper Sales can help.
People should go to leachcamper.com and check out the inventory.
And the 2024s are all in.
Head to leachcamper.com or stop by Leach Camper Sales in Council Bluffs.
And don't forget,
the coffee's always on.
Of course it is.
Heard the catchphrase that's sweeping the nation?
Jackson Hugh, yeah.
People are saying Jackson Hugh, yeah, to Jackson Hewitt because they love saving money on tax prep. Do you love saving money? Then switch to Jackson Hewitt today and pay less than last year. Thousands of people have already made the switch. Why haven't you? Stop waiting and start filing. You won't get a better deal or a better catchphrase. All together now.
Jackson Hugh, yeah.
Proof of prior year payment required when filing. New clients only at participating locations through April 7th. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
I'm JB Long with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. 49ers wide receiver Brandon Ayuk is hoping for a new long-term contract as he heads into the fifth and final year of his rookie deal. Ayuk, who is coming off his career best with over 1,300 receiving yards last season, tells the Nightcap podcast, quote, "I'm trying to get what I deserve," end quote. 49ers GM John Lynch recently confirmed the two sides are actively talking to try and work out a long-term deal. Meanwhile, the 2024 NFL Draft begins on April 25th, and one of the biggest needs for the Seahawks is offensive line. Seattle lost 5 veteran linemen in free agency, and GM John Snyder says the team continues exploring multiple avenues to address the concern. The Saints signed kicker and former Gaelic football goalkeeper Charlie Smith to a 3-year contract. Smith becomes the first Irish player to sign with the team from the NFL's International Pathway Program. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Heard the catchphrase that's sweeping the nation?
Jackson Hugh, yeah.
People are saying Jackson Hugh, yeah, to Jackson Hewitt because they love saving money on tax prep. Do you love saving money? Then switch to Jackson Hewitt today and pay less than last year. Thousands of people have already made the switch. Why haven't you? Stop waiting and start filing. You won't get a better deal or a better catchphrase. All together now.
Jackson Hugh, yeah.
Proof of prior year payment required when filing. New clients only at participating locations through April 7th. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning. Hi, I'm Kamiko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken. When we started our family restaurant, we were also raising a family. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Our Chase Inc. card was there to reward us on all of our business needs. Now we have a thriving location, and we're hungry for more.
With the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card, you can earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for Business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Do you like to shoot fireworks? Would you like to get Paid to shoot fireworks? J&M Displays wants you. Help shoot an Omaha Storm Chasers game, Memorial Park display, or any of the major shows in Western Iowa and all of Nebraska. If you like to travel, J&M covers Nebraska, Kansas, and most of Missouri. They offer free training and great daily pay rates, which makes it a perfect part-time job. Visit jnmdisplays.com and click the Join Our Team tab to find out more. J&M Fireworks.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/radio. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at HIMS, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/radio and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. hims.com/radio.
Roofing, siding, and gutters. Make the right call with the rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
1620 The Zone.
Ryan Kalkbrenner. A dejected Ryan Kalkbrenner. He could still come back next year. We're not sure what he's going to do. Mac with a hug. A lot of emotion from Ryan. I'm looking back at his parents right now. And now Baylor Shireman checking out. What a gutty performance by Shireman, who was not 100% tonight. That left leg was bothering him. But he gutted it out all game long, as he always did. And now Trey Alexander checks out. Stephen Ashworth checks out. And a long hug for Trey Alexander. And Francisco Farabello playing his last college game. And he gets the embrace from Greg McDermott. 4.9 seconds left. Dalton Connect. One more free throw coming. You see the emotion pouring out of Francisco right now as the free throw is good. 82-75. And the final seconds run off the clock. And the Tennessee Volunteers are headed to the Elite Eight as they defeat the number 3 seed Creighton Blue Jays by the final score of 82-75.
Live from 50th and Capitol Avenue in the Big O. This is Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and 1620 The Zone TV. Now here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy.
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
All right, good Monday morning, everybody. Let me just get this out of the way right now, okay? Because everybody knows what the date is. There will be some radio show in America that will lose their job today because they go over the top on April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
I think April Fool's Day has jumped the shark.
Yes, I agree.
I think we have played it out. I think the good jokes have been had.
Mm-hmm.
And just get ready for a bunch of unfunny jokes and stuff on social media that you think is true that is not true. So
Mhm.
do what you will with that. But I thought about not coming in today. Thought about staying at home.
Oh.
I did.
Because of April 1st, you're going to pull a little prankster?
Nope. Wasn't
'Cause of the
like
plethora of vacation
You know,
hours.
like from the end of the basketball season being over around here. I wasn't like really, really sad. I was going to wait for you guys to call me, and then I was going to say, "Oh, I thought you were joking that we were working today." Then thank you. I will be here until 10 o'clock.
Gary, it's not President's Day.
Yeah.
All right, come on. It's not President's Day.
So there's going to be a bunch of unfunny jokes, but happy April Fool's Day. Can't wait for the radio station that gets in trouble. Well, they used to have, when I was in school, the Daily Nebraskan did a April Fool's Day
Like an article.
edition.
We did that in high school.
Man, it was funny.
Those, I mean,
it was
that's
good.
Those
it
are
was
usually the best things.
It was mean. It was mean. But at the time back then, you don't really think about anybody else's feelings. You're like, oh, that's funny, as it really like destroyed somebody.
It was a simpler time.
Oh,
that was good.
I had I was in college. I had a oh crap moment, and I completely forgot what day it was. A girl I was dating pulled the worst thing you could ever do.
How many kids was she going to have?
She said, yeah, by the way, we need to talk. And then she pulled that whole thing, and I thought I was going to throw up, and also other things. And then she goes, "You know what day it is, right?" And I'm like, "You've got it." Let's just say we didn't last.
Did you break up right away?
We didn't last much longer.
No, that would have been like an immediate breakup.
And she thought she thought it was so funny. And then
Hey.
the worst thing is one of her friends her knucklehead friend, I couldn't stand hanging out with them if this girl was going to be around too. She's like, "Oh yeah, she thought it'd be such a good idea." I'm like, "Yep. Well, this is why you shouldn't hang out with her." Oh, I was pissed. So
Me too, because you can't
that
mess,
sticks with me a little bit.
You can't miss with a man's baby batter.
Yeah,
Okay? That's just
exactly.
like one thing you can't do on April.
I
April
agree.
1.
There are just certain lines you don't cross on April 1st.
Because even if you are like you're expecting and it's supposed to be this really cool moment,
yeah,
am I going to believe you?
Right.
Yeah.
Anything. Yeah, exactly. Anything that comes after that, if we were like, say, we actually stayed together. Are you sure this time? Yeah, like it just it tainted anything. I was just, and she didn't think about that. She didn't. Yeah.
Women sometimes don't think clearly. Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome in.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley.
Jimmy here as well.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
Final four is set for the men. The final four for the women will be set after tonight's two great games. But as around here, the basketball season has come to an end. I like the Final Four. I think this is about as close to a perfect Final Four as you can imagine. You have got villains. You've got heroes. You've got number one seeds. You got a defending champ. You have got post players. If you like tall ballers, you got that. And you've got a great American hero and a great American story with North Carolina State, who had lost 7 of 9, and now they've essentially won 9 straight elimination games.
And DJ Burns is missing spring ball for this.
And DJ Burns is perfect. The guy is in the vending machine business, but he's going to have to put that on hold because he's going to Phoenix on the weekend to play in the NCAA national semifinal. I really, really like the Final Four. I mean, March Madness has delivered. There were some ups and downs during the last couple of weeks, but to get to now the Final Four, man, I think it's darn near perfect.
Yeah, I can't disagree.
Like Positive Monday. Yeah.
You get your number one seeds. You get the possibility to repeat history, like what happened to Virginia when they lost to a 16 seed, then they come back the following year, win a national championship. Okay, hello Purdue. After same thing just happened to them, can they fulfill that prophecy that Virginia did? UConn has been the best team all year, so you do get that part of it too. You get the regular season champ in a sense, and then you get the hot team, Alabama, and then you, as you pointed out, then you get the feel good story in the 11 seed. And who doesn't love DJ Burns? Who just doesn't? I
Duke fans.
Well, other than that,
I mean, he just etched his name in the heart of America.
Yes,
by talking trash on Duke.
Mm-hmm. And just the overall, the fact that he's okay. Yeah, he's a big, but he's also big. Yeah. Again, I joke thinking that he should be probably balling out in spring football right now too, because he looks like he'd be playing on the offensive line. And you get the big guy going off for 29 points, then that's going to be your matchup on Saturday between him and Edey. Like, yeah, this it's got about everything you'd want right now.
Fun matchup, and then they're going to tip off on Saturday, and you'll be like,
yeah, right.
This ain't a good matchup.
Well, and I'll be honest, and I'll be off for a week starting on Wednesday or Thursday, I should say this week.
Warn me, I'm going to hit the breaking news thing.
I'm hoping, and I still think it'll happen, but I'm hoping to God we get UConn Purdue.
Oh,
I think it'd be amazing.
The needle. Any other matchup would not move the needle.
Right.
We need UConn and Purdue. But I think the Final Four is great. Now, the lines for Friday or for Saturday night are a little lopsided as expected. UConn is an 11.5 point favorite, and Purdue is a 9.5 point favorite. But the Purdue UConn matchup next Monday, a week from today, would move the needle. Now, my question is about DJ Burns. And I was watching periodically I watch North Carolina State. I have a good friend, and her dad are diehard North Carolina State fans. He was an athlete at North Carolina State, so I hear about North Carolina State a lot. So I started to watch them, and I was like, okay, Kevin Keatts is going to get fired, and then they go on this run, and I don't know, we always talk about like the greatest run in NCAA history.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, the thing, like North Carolina State is the ideal March Madness team, the improbability of it all, of what happens. Like some of the best teams that you thought going into the tournament didn't perform very well. Creighton's on that list. I'll explain that in the next segment when we kind of put a bow on their season.
Sounded like a mentality read.
But unless there's some of the, like a UConn, which UConn was good from the jump.
Yeah.
And UConn has been dominating. They won 4 games in this tournament by a combined 111 points.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that you get in March Madness is you get the improbability of runs like North Carolina State. Just go back to the ACC tournament. Virginia has a free throw shooter at the line that is an 87% free throw shooter. Hasn't missed more than 2 free throws in a game all season. He misses the second free throw. North Carolina State gets the rebound. They come down the floor, and at the buzzer, they hit a 3 to send the game to overtime.
Mm-hmm.
They beat Virginia, and they've just rolled since then, and now they're in the NCAA tournament. That is what March Madness is all about. I mean, they're a Ken Palm team that is, what are they, 43rd, I think? So we have the number 1 Ken Palm is UConn. Number 3 is Purdue. Alabama's in the, is Alabama like 12th? And then North Carolina State's in the 40th, the 4Ds. What a great tournament. But that's like North Carolina State they've got 14 losses.
Yeah.
That's the most of anybody that has been in the Final Four.
Yeah, before that it was 13, yeah.
And they continue the stretch of since 2013, we've had a 5-seed or worse has made the Final Four, and they're in as an 11. It's like the great American story. And it's perfect.
Wasn't
like a 30 for 30.
The year that VCU made the Final Four, they were 11 as well, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
play-in game.
I think that's right. Yes, and I think of going back again to this Final Four. You have every box that I think people want to check, and that's the big if, as long as it plays out to what we want to see in the national championship. Because I'm with you. I don't think anybody would want to see anything other than Purdue, UConn, but it is cool. You get a full week of storylines surrounding NC State and then Alabama. But the NC State thing is this is what's great about the tournament. This is another reason, like, let's not expand the tournament. There's nothing wrong with the tournament. We don't need to tinker with this thing. Is you do get that team that it is the shining example for if you can, for the Nebraskas and for any of the other schools that make it in but aren't usually going to be anything greater than maybe an 8 seed. You can make it in as long as you are a hot team. If you start to get it going there either towards a conference tournament or at the end of February, that path does exist for you
to be in a hot team going in. Yeah,
the hot team either going in or going into the to your conference tournament.
Here's what you have though: you have 2 teams that were not hot going into the tournament. Basically, Alabama really struggled down the stretch. North Carolina State, until they made a run in the ACC, they had struggled.
Right.
Now the other 2 have been playing good basketball for a long time.
Yeah, and so it's got everything. Everything that we want to see in the Final Four, from really good basketball players, really good basketball teams, to the feel-good story. As long as the feel-good story doesn't make it to Monday.
Great. We got villains. Okay?
Yes, we do.
We got a guy that's coaching at UConn that I like. I love. He's a guy that you can hate, and he's a guy that you actually can love as well. And then you have the DJ Burns. You get Alabama. All right, Alabama's a fun team to watch. One of the funnest college basketball games, is that even a word, that I watched this season was when Alabama played here in December against Creighton. That was a great college basketball game. High-scoring game. Alabama loves to score. They love to shoot the threes, and they got Nate Oates, who was a high school coach not too long ago. I mean, so you've got that part. You've got Zach Edey, of course, which social media has been kind of interesting. I haven't tweeted in a while. I think I'm going to go back to tweeting today.
Okay.
Because I've just watched kind of a little bit from afar. It's been an absolute cesspool for like 2 weeks. Like Nebraska on Creighton crime, Creighton on Nebraska crime, fan base on fan base crime. I did LOL. Do you know what Tennessee started calling Zach Edey yesterday?
Mm-mm.
Zach?
Foul-ming.
It's pretty good, actually.
Tennessee Twitter, and then on Friday night there was a little Creighton that was dropped in there. It's quite fascinating. That's a world that I don't know that here we have our faults as Nebraskans.
Yeah.
All right. We don't know how to text. We don't know how to do those kind of things. But we are nothing like Tennessee. But watching Tennessee Twitter yesterday was quite fascinating because everybody's complaining about the officials, regardless of your fan base. Hell, UConn's complaining about the officials. Purdue complains about the officials. But this Final Four has everything. And then DJ Burns, which is exactly why March Madness is perfect, is because they create like folk heroes.
Yep.
Like Jack Golke was our first weekend folk hero.
That's right.
We may not pay attention to Jack anymore.
No.
He shows up with Barstool. He's got all these NIL deals.
And then you'll remember him again.
But you know what? There's going to be a time you're going to be on vacation in Clearwater, Florida with the family, and you're going to be like, oh, are you? And he's going to go, yeah, Jack Golke. Let me introduce you to my 3 kids with my wife that I met at Oakland. But he was the first week guy. And then DJ Burns has been there because I think, and this is me personally, as a big fella, I'm attracted to big fellas, but I like anybody that plays with joy.
Yes.
Not the person, but plays with joy. I have said that a long time. Anybody that looks like they're having fun at their job, I'm attracted to you. Okay? Because I think that's pretty cool in a day and age where we're all grumpy and we hate life. But if you play with joy, like I don't mind Angel Reese. Okay? She's in on the act. Okay? So she just laughs.
Yeah.
But she plays with joy. She's got an edge to her. DJ Burns has kind of got an edge to him, but he plays with joy. And then to add to that, he's in the vending machine business. Like, what is he going to do today? Does he have to go when he gets back to Raleigh, go around and collect the money from his vending machines?
I believe so. Monday's probably a big day for that, too.
I mean, the guy's taking pictures with the security staff last night at the arena in Dallas. I mean, that's what March Madness is. And this is a darn near perfect Final Four in Glendale, Arizona this weekend.
Yeah, I totally agree. The only thing that would have made it better, and you're right about DJ Burns, and if it's an 11 seed that is maybe not in a Power 6 conference, would be the only thing that if you got to really nitpick. But as far as the characters involved, the types of teams involved, having a double-digit seed involved, all of that, I think, sets up for a perfect Saturday. Again, and this is where Purdue and UConn, you're hoping advance to Monday. Maybe you're listening and saying, well, I don't want to see that. But most of the viewing audience does hope that. But that doesn't mean on Saturday that somebody could necessarily be pushed to the limit. Maybe we see NC State shown out one more time against Purdue, and that game is really, really tight. That's the other thing, because when you look at the point spreads on these things, as you just rattled off there, it gives you an idea of the confidence level that these will be good games on Saturday. But at least one. I'm too confident in UConn right now. Love the way that Bama has been playing, but I'm too confident in UConn. And as great as the NC State story is, Purdue seems like, and we talked about this a little bit on Friday, Purdue just seems like they're pissed off. And I mean, they've got the firepower to back that up, but they seem like it's a team that is not buying into the narrative of, being able to win the big game, to get over the hump. And now you're in the Final Four, which is great. And that's where they haven't been in such a very, very long time. And that's where this type of roster is supposed to be. But I still think that that's a team. It's hard to imagine that they don't continue that pissed off brand of basketball where they're coming at them. So
can you make money on the vending machine business?
I think so.
Like the company that runs the vending machine here, do they make a lot of money off us?
Well, so
because I would say like 65% of the time their vending machine don't work. And you see all those like Post-it notes.
Yeah.
You owe me 35 cents.
Yeah, somebody else had like $300 or something like that. And I just learned sodas went up the other day here. They're now $1.25. So
inflation.
Yes.
Remember back in the day when they were 50 cents? No. So a lot of the
glass bottles,
if you get into the more fancy vending machine business, there's probably a coin or two to be had in that. The ones that are almost like a mobile convenience store that they put into your break room.
I thought the vending machines were just like the mob.
A money laundering deal?
Like the mob. They have a like a storefront to launder money.
It seems like it would be
businesses, and then they probably have a nail salon.
Yeah, it seems like it would be a good middleman.
And a moving company.
Yeah.
A good money cleanser. Yeah, that
seems like
Montana
Realty Company.
And a car wash.
If you're running, basically, if you're running a vending machine, then you're part of the money cleaning business.
I just described the South Omaha mob. That's what they're into. They've got a car wash, They got a restaurant that's got, got a front where they can have the back.
Yeah.
They got a nail salon.
Periodically throughout the week, you're going to see a guy show up with like just a random duffel bag and then leave.
And
Probably
they
5 minutes
control
later.
all the vending machines in South Omaha, including Henry Dorther Zoo.
Wow.
Well, then there you go. There is money to be had.
You guys ever tip a vending machine to try and get something free?
Oh, I thought you meant like.
I mean, it's stolen my money before, so I guess technically I tipped.
No, where you rock it?
Oh,
we
yeah.
did.
Yeah.
in
Oh,
school.
tipped. Okay. I thought you meant like I meant giving them more money than no. Yes, I have many times.
I can tell you that the Urbandale High School vending machine that was there got rocked many times. And
Yeah.
if you rocked once forward and then slid it quickly to the right, you were probably going to get something.
Oh, you had a cheat code.
Yeah, but you had a sometimes you might get like the Milky Way.
Yeah.
Or you might
Did you
get,
say the Milky Way?
Yeah. Like if I'm going to go to the
The
if
Milky
I'm gonna
Way.
go to the trouble to possibly get arrested,
The other night on the
I
Google.
want something good to fall out of the vending machine.
I want to try to bring up Milky Way as much as I can in the next year. The Milky Way.
The Milky Way.
As
Or
I was eating the
or-
Snickers.
or the Almond Joy.
The Almond Joy. Yes. That was interesting.
By the way,
So-
happy half price candy day to you guys.
Oh, that is true. Tried to go on Saturday because we were a little late to the party of getting Reese's Easter basket. Yeah, they're not kind to you if you wait to the last minute. Holy
Yeah, I
hell.
made a major mistake yesterday.
Yeah?
There were slim pickings at Hy-Vee. So
You
and
took
then
the
there were-
Caitlin
That's
cut
what I
out?
was too.
There were a lot of people just standing around, just staring at the candy. So, I kind of took the lead and went what I thought was good. And they have these things called spiced eggs.
Nope.
Oh.
They are terrible.
Nope.
Is it supposed to be
I would
a deviled egg?
No, it's candy.
It's candy.
Oh, it's candy?
It's
Yeah,
like those
it's-
spice drops.
It's a spiced jelly bean.
Nope.
Oh.
I would have eaten Peeps instead. And I've avoided Peeps now for 4 straight years.
Oh,
unless
Peeps
I'm,
and COVID.
unless I'm performing a science experiment.
You guys realize there's a Peeps cereal, by the way?
Yeah.
That's awful.
We're a fat country, Nick.
Yeah.
There's
It's like
going to
not,
be a
it's
cereal.
not
for
enough
sugar.
to just have Peeps there. It's like, hey, you know what? Let's have it in our cereal too. I've never heard of such eggs. I'm glad I avoided
Ooh.
them.
You can see them today for half price.
There's a
think I
reason
want to.
why. There's a reason why I left them somewhere yesterday. I took candy to a place.
Yeah.
And
left the eggs.
I left the
Good for you.
eggs.
Good for
I
you.
was like, those aren't coming home with me.
And maybe somebody thought you're actually, making a good gesture, and you're like,
Wasn't
nope,
it
you're doing
nice
me
of
the favor.
you?
All right. We'll give you a lineup here in just a moment. Leave them cold on Twitter. North Carolina State baseball also made an impressive run in 2021. Should have
Yeah.
made the championship, but their season got canceled
That's true.
because of
COVID, yeah, the vid, yeah.
Well, they got kicked out of the NCAA tournament.
Vanderbilt benefit from that.
North Carolina State baseball actually doing well. So the men and women from North Carolina State are in the Final Four.
Raleigh, the place to be.
The UConn women have a chance tonight to make the Final Four. And maybe the biggest and most advertised, talked about game of March Madness will occur tonight
at 6
between LSU and Iowa.
Saw that 6 o'clock.
A
Yes.
rematch of last year's national championship where there are players involved. And all I can think about is what is Kim Mulkey going to wear tonight?
Oh, will she go like
it's got to be on
something
point.
martyring?
It's got to
like
be
a-
on point.
like a black, like Cruella
Some people
DeVille.
are thinking that it'll have.
she'll be subtle?
It'll be a bunch of Lee Greenwood CDs. I'm going to be thinking about that all day long. What is Kim Mulkey going to
Patriot
wear
Supply
tonight
on it.
to a game that could get 11 million viewers, eclipsing what LSU Iowa did in the national championship game last year? But tonight it's Caitlin Clark against Flo J, and LSU and Iowa in a game that we got what we wanted. Like the men a week from today, we want UConn Purdue. A lot of our brackets have UConn Purdue. We might get that. We get LSU Iowa tonight on the women's side, and then you turn around and you get Paige Beckers against Juju Watkins
with a correct 3-point line.
Yeah, if only Norman Dale was in Portland yesterday.
I was thinking the exact same thing. Of you start pulling out the measuring tape, you'll notice this is the exact same measurements as our gym back in Hickory.
It was an actual fan that caught it, by the way.
Always is.
It was not.
That's amazing.
Remember, like we went through this rage in golf when fans would randomly
And I
call in
hated
with rule infractions.
Yeah.
There was a fan in Portland that brought it up to the NCAA that the floor doesn't look right. Not as ESPN showed a couple of middle-aged men walking off the distance.
Yeah.
It was a fan that said, I think there's something wrong with the floor because from my seat, it doesn't look right. And they had played, 4 games?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's embarrassing.
The women's side, which is going to draw a monster number tonight with both of those games, can't get out of its own way.
Nope.
It's not just that. It's a couple of things that have happened during March Madness. All right, let me give you the lineup brought to you by the referees at John Higgins Weather Guard. I will tell you that in about 2 hours and 29 minutes, we get the full opening day at Wrigley Field Matt Verzal experience. He will join us.
It's always good.
He's been in Chicago because he went and
I saw
watched
that.
his nephew play yesterday or this weekend with Nebraska and Northwestern baseball. So he'll join us coming up at 9. Jacob Bigelow will stop by as well. His thoughts on the Final Four and also the portal, because everybody should be portaling, and Amy Just will be by as well. That is the lineup brought to you by the referees at John Higgins Weather Guard, which I wonder tonight's game. So this is like the game in women's basketball. We did not get a Bird Magic rematch. We get a Angel Reese Caitlin Clark rematch. They moved the number 1 announcing crew for ESPN to this game. And I wonder if they will move their best officials in college women's basketball to this game. Because if this game is poorly officiated, and I'm also wondering not only what Kim Mulkey is going to wear or which newspaper will go after her next, is who will be the first to get a technical foul, Kim Mulkey or Caitlin Clark?
Ooh.
Now, they don't ever call technical fouls on Kim Mulkey. Kim Mulkey could stand in the middle of the floor during the game. Now, she'd probably blend in with the logo at midcourt.
Right.
But no one ever calls a technical on her.
She'll disintegrate you with
and
her
she actually
eyes.
is on the floor.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they've rearranged to move their best officials to tonight's game.
Joey Crawford called out of retirement.
God, I hope so. I
mean,
mean,
walk out in Tim Donaghy's.
All the fixes in.
That would be it. No, that would be a twist right there.
That's David Stern's music.
Yeah, I hope so, because this night, not even that game sets it up. But I'm hoping that people understand that tune into Iowa LSU tonight to understand what's coming after too with Juju Watkins and Paige Beckers.
Do they get Higgy out of retirement for tonight?
Oh,
see, he should.
Men's officials don't want to work the women's game.
Don't know how to officiate it?
No, they do. Why would they? They wouldn't want to work that.
Oh, we need you though.
Why is this coach screaming at me?
What if duty is calling? Yeah. What about that would be kind of fun. A Higgy Mulkey a little get together, a little matchup there.
I don't want to reveal everything, but in previous conversations, there ain't a chance.
I'm just saying. You're gonna have a lot of eyeballs tonight. That product, especially with what has happened in the last 24 hours, and you pointed out too what's happened in the NCAA tournament on the women's side too. You need this thing to go smoothly, at least from the things that you can control.
Well, I mean, officiating at times can be a little inconsistent. If you have been, like, if you went to Pittsburgh and you went to Detroit, or you went to Omaha, or you've gone somewhere else to watch the NCAA tournament in an arena. It is curious to me that they are advertising for officials.
Mm-hmm.
So the NCAA runs essentially an ad or a PSA during a timeout about the need for officials
and checking the back seat.
It's I have to kind of chuckle.
That gives you an idea of the state of affairs that the officials are under right now, or that basketball, the game itself, is under. That
there's jobs to be had.
You are openly advertising that to your adoring audience, the ones that are in the arena. Oh, hey, you know what? I want to be an official. Maybe it's just a PSA for the youngsters out there. Yeah, you might aspire to be one of these guys on the floor that are actually doing the scoring. What about the guys that are calling the fouls?
The guy from Tennessee that's calling Zach Edey foul Ming comes out of the stands.
Yeah, I can do better.
He's like, I officiated Campus Rec when I was at UT. All right. You can always join the conversation. Your thoughts on the Final Four, the weekend of basketball. Creighton season now being done. The 42 Degrees to the Source hotline is 951-1620. You can always email us into the Equitable Bank inbox, Gary at 1620thezone.com.
Handley, 1620thezone.com.
Or on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed at Gary Sharp 1620.
At Nick Handley, 1620.
All right, when we come back, now that the Creighton season is over, what is the proper reaction to it being over and what this season was for Creighton? We will get into that, because all I could hear in my head early Saturday morning is the phrase, and he's the pregame and postgame host of the Padres now. And with that, the college basketball season has come to an end. And it's over around here. Now we're on to baseball. By the way, nice matchup tomorrow night downtown.
Couple
But
20
what's the
teams?
proper reaction to Creighton's season coming to an end at 25-10 in the Sweet 16 against Tennessee? That and much more as we roll till 10. Good to have you in on April 1st. Yes, April Fool's Day, right here on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley. Now live on Twitch, YouTube, and 1620thezone.com.
Are Nebraska craft beers and ciders important to you? Whether you just love Nebraska brewed beers and ciders or you're a full-fledged craft brewery, there are benefits to membership for anyone with the Nebraska Craft Brewers Guild. Their sole mission is to foster and help grow the Nebraska-centric brewing community. Become a member today at nebraska.beer and help advance the craft beer and cider industry in the state of Nebraska. Find out more about the Nebraska Craft Brewers Guild at nebraska.beer.
When it comes to protecting your home, Jay Stenick Contracting takes pride in ensuring every detail is handled. Roofing, siding, gutters. When it comes to the exterior of your home, Jay Stenick Contracting has you covered. Have you noticed stains on your ceiling this winter? With storm season around the corner and the damage it can bring, let Jay Stenick Contracting ensure that your roof is durable and holds up against the weather this spring and summer. When you need an honest assessment, Jay Stenick Contracting has you covered. JSCRestoration.com.
Are you someone who tries to drive while distracted by your phone? Someone who props it on the steering wheel or peeks down at it for a glance? Or just scrolls and scrolls? If so, you could be the next person to get into a fender bender, get a ticket, veer off the road, or even cause a crash that kills you or someone else. Enough already. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
Hi, I'm Kamiko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken. When we started our family restaurant, we were also raising a family. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Our Chase Ink card was there to reward us on all of our business needs. Now we have a thriving location, and we're hungry for more.
With the Chase Ink Business Unlimited card, you can earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for Business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for the participation. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
The Zone Inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Email me, Connor Happer, with the Connor Happer Show at Connor, CONNOR, at 1620thezone.com. Send me your love, your hate, and maybe a few hot takes. The Zone Inbox, presented by Equitable Bank.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential. But finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Hi, Johnny Rogers. We are very excited. Baxter Arena. Now, here's the best news. A limited number of arena seats are available for just $39. Just $39 to see the Jet Award and Larry the Cable Guy. Now, that's over the top. Hurry and get your tickets today at BaxterArena.com. Larry the Cable Guy at the 2024 Jet Award event. Hope to see you there.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
This would be a day to mess with the emotions of Washington State and Oregon State fans. Like breaking news. You're going to the ACC.
oh, yeah. If you had conference realignment, I feel like you can't announce that today. You can't
Great
do that.
day for news, though.
Yeah, it's
Well, I don't
because
think
not everybody's going to take it
I
serious.
don't think it is because it's you don't know if it's serious or not.
Yeah.
But if you want something forgotten.
Well, every I feel like whether we're talking Major League Baseball, NFL organization, NBA, I feel like a lot of the Twitter accounts and the social media directors and teams for those organizations like to have a lot of fun today too. I usually like baseball notes. I remember Jake had done this before too with the Omaha Storm Chasers. It had some really fun baseball notes for that upcoming game. And then so if you actually we all get them and sometimes we just kind of scan through them, but this really tests like how much you're actually detailing, like looking through every little nugget that's thrown out there. And you're like,
today's Cubs notes have Henry Rodengartner in there.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they did that one time. I think like the Cubs did that one time and they throw like some of the movie characters out there. It's like that part of April Fool's is fun.
No, it's not. It's Jump the Shark.
But I could get
There's
down
a
with
lot
that.
of positivity today. That's one where April Fool's is Jump the Shark.
But that's not impacting my life. That's not making me think, oh, I have a kid on the way. So I'm okay with fun little things like that. We're like, oh, that's cute. I guess
Will
you're
you come
doing.
in tomorrow and
Unless
you-
you're
It would be bad if
unless you're Sean Kemp, it doesn't
Oh,
matter. It
yeah,
doesn't really-
it's like April Fool's. I don't care.
April Fool's, Christmas, it's all the same to me. Lunchable Gary, this is his 67th birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, Gary.
All right. Happy birthday, Gary.
Wouldn't that be great if Gary celebrated his birthday on April Fool's and he had a wife that was a leap day baby?
Oh, yeah.
That'd be a great relationship.
That's one hell of a union right there.
Terry writes in my question about the vending machine business that DJ Burns is heavily involved in Raleigh. He said Vinny P is online too. He knows you drop line one to talk business opportunities. Does he only get one call?
Yeah, and then you'll get visited by Three Finger Jack wanting to collect as well. Yeah. Does he still get one call? Is that it? I feel like once you're
don't know, never been there.
Once you're in the system, maybe you get more phone call privileges. Yeah.
They had to. Do they still have the vending machines that are down by the Bob Carey pedestrian bridge? Because I used to always see those were vandalized.
Last I checked,
then
they
they
were
put like steel bars on front of them.
Yeah, that's when you just know don't have them. When you got to put bars in front of them, then you just probably shouldn't have them. Period. I feel like that's the last ditch effort. But yeah, the last time I was there, I believe they were present, but that was last summer.
I would just love like a camera to be following DJ Burns today as he goes,
Yeah.
hey, I can't do that interview. Man, I got to go collect.
I got my route. Yep. Got to get guys, my route starts at this time. I got to work it around practice. Do you think he's ever said, Coach, I might be running a little bit late to practice. My route's running late.
Well, now maybe he's taking the next step. He's got a guy.
Yeah, hopefully
But
he's got a
I think
guy.
when you get started, you probably do it on your own.
Yeah. Hopefully that he's got this week off.
I looked it up during the break to see what the investment would cost, like to buy your own vending machines and then fill them. We're getting fleeced here. I can tell you that. Whoever owns the vending machines here, they are fleecing NRG Media.
Gary, you might piss off the wrong person. They're always listening.
Good. Then they'll leave and then we'll get cheaper stuff here.
Well, I'm just saying it might be connected to something a lot deeper.
You guys were telling me that soda's $1.25. Now,
yeah.
To be fair, I haven't walked in that room since the naked guy was here, just because they haven't cleaned it. Patrick says,
yeah, he's not wrong.
His place of business, $1.85 are the sodas.
It's expensive.
Yeah, when Jimmy said that, I thought
I just found this out last week, and
Well,
then I dropped the F word and then walked out.
have you guys gone to a vending machine at a hotel? Because
No.
usually you're paying at least $2.
It's like $27. Just to get a
Depends
bottle
on what part
Diet
of the
Coke.
country you're in.
Oh, really?
Like up in the Dakotas, like if you want to get a soda,
they give it to you.
No, it's only like $2.
Oh.
But if you
Oh,
go
wait,
to
that's not
like a bougier hotel,
yeah,
it's going to cost you.
Yeah.
But you expect that going in.
You do.
I
Yeah,
was
you know.
pleasantly surprised in a hotel in Sioux Falls that a Diet Coke, a 16-ounce Diet Coke, only cost $2.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I was in Chicago and we need water. Got to try to get a bottle of water in a vending machine. It's like $5. Come on.
You know, they have this funny thing, Nick, in a hotel.
Tap, yeah,
They got
yeah.
the ice bucket.
The ice bucket?
You can go and get ice,
Yeah.
and then out of the tap, and then you pour that into a glass, and you put ice in there, and it's a crazy thing. It's one of the great things about America. It's called free.
I just don't want that Chicago River water getting into my.
You could drink
get in
it
my
straight out of
system.
the bucket.
What,
with a
hotel,
straw.
what kind of a hotel are you staying in? Motel 6?
No.
Howard Johnson.
Well, Do Hojos exist?
Hojo.
Do they still exist?
He did with the Mets in the 80s.
Yeah, I know he did. He was great.
Yeah.
But
Dave Magadan.
I don't know. Okay, this is a weird thing of mine. Unless I'm in like full desperation mode, I can't drink tap water. I know. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I know
No
that makes
chicken
me,
for breakfast, no water.
I know that makes me
Do
sound.
you brush your teeth?
Yes, I do.
With milk, apparently.
Yeah.
Cereal
I do brush my
Bring-
teeth with tap
do you-
water.
Do you bring water from home?
Actually, my coffee, I use that at a tap water when we filled the coffee maker. So
And you've lived.
there is that. Yeah, I have.
Huh.
But it's diluted with coffee.
Huh.
I don't know. It's just something. We had a bad experience in Mexico, and I get it. We're not in Mexico, but
This is Omaha.
yeah,
I mean,
it just
sometimes when you're
freaks
in
me out.
Chicago, you might think you're in Mexico.
That's true. There's some crime there. Yeah. There's some pollution with the water there too. I just it's a thing of mine. I'd like to avoid it at all costs. I know. I can see the judgmental eyes here. That's fine. Judge all you want. I just
because you're bashing Chicago.
And
Oh,
water.
I love going to
Hasn't-
Chicago,
hasn't
but
And
stopped
water.
Vers. I bet Vers is just going all in on Pedialyte and tap water right now.
the Tito's and tap water.
Boy, we got to find out what Patrick works because now he says candy bars are $2. They've gone up to $2.50.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I thought 75 cents at one point was astronomical. Now we're getting into like the $1.50 to $2. Come on.
I might just forego this job and I'm gonna get into the vending machine business.
Yeah, apparently you can price gouge.
joke. Okay, so the basketball season around here is over.
I mean, he's not wrong. At 10 o'clock, I'm off Twitter for the day.
4 teams make the NCAA tournament. We had two women's teams made it to the second round. Nebraska knocked out. Creighton made it all the way to the second weekend once again. Pretty good run. I mean, an exceptional run for this core over the last 4 years. And we'll get into a little bit later of what's next because it will be Mac's it'll be like Mac's last ride on the roster construction and where they go next, but they're not going to take a step back. They're going to be in a position to do this again. Will it be next year? Who knows? I mean, there is some randomness in the NCAA tournament, and there's matchups. There's some teams that doesn't matter if it's matchups, i.e. UConn. But Creighton will be in a position again to have this success. Yep. And I mean, and this will be the last run for Mac. So how he constructs his roster. But I thought about this after the game on Friday night, and I'm sure to a lot of people it was a very frustrating game. Remember, stars got to be stars when you get to the second weekend. One star was a star; the other two checked out. They were not filling their role as a star. But what should be the proper reaction to Friday? Because now we're a couple of days later, and so you can reflect on the season. And it was a season that people will talk about for a long time involving Creighton. They gave you a lot of memories. Okay, 25-10. Have 2 of those 25 wins are over 2 teams that are playing in the Final Four. But there were some goals that were not met this season. So what should be the proper reaction to what happened on Friday night?
I think disappointment. First and foremost, I think disappointment. I think for one of the reasons you bring up there too, where the big three wasn't the entire big three or the big three plus one with Stephen Ashworth. All Taylor Shireman was great, and I think there's going to be that part of the season where you go to the preseason prognostications of this team needs to take that next step forward. So what's that next step is obviously being a second away from the Final Four. What happened last year. But I also think of last year, to me, that didn't feel like a Final Four type team. That didn't feel like a team that was a second away from the Final Four because I think people forget this is the great thing about the tournament, and it worked out for Creighton in the situation of the Sweet 16 where you faced a Princeton team that pulled some upsets. So sometimes a path is created to where you get maybe a more favorable matchup because the team you're facing did the dirty work. They took care of maybe a team that might have been a tougher matchup. This year, this was a lot more, even with Oregon winning in their first round, I don't think that shocked many people. So they didn't have that opening, if you will. You had good teams that you had to go through, and you faced a good Tennessee team that from a matchup standpoint, and we talked about this last week, Gary, that what they do defensively was going to be Very interesting on how
that was the kryptonite for
it
this
was.
team.
The turnovers, and when we saw this team have off nights, it typically, if you would look at the turnover number, you would typically see that thing greater than at least 12, and that was the case. So to kind of bring it all together, to me, this is still a disappointment because as much as I didn't think last year's team was a Final Four team, I thought you put that goal out there, you bring basically everybody back, and the ones that you're replacing, you feel like you got enough out of throughout the season. I'm talking about Stephen Ashworth. You got enough out of him throughout the season, and then the rotation that you had at the 4 position, that you felt that at the very least you wanted to either have that season, if it was going to come to an end, not on the Final Four weekend, it was going to come. It was going to come to an end on a Saturday or Sunday of the Elite Eight.
Yeah. See, I think you're right, Nick. I think disappointing is the right word, because if you're looking at, okay, which team played to their identity on Friday night, Tennessee played more to their identity. Now, you could say that Creighton for 35 minutes, man, they were the better team. Well, that's why you play 40 minutes, and Tennessee was the better team through the course of 40 minutes. And there were a lot of self-inflicted wounds on Creighton's part in there, and they got hurt by turnovers, and they just got really crushed on the offensive glass. But stars got to be stars. Look at yesterday's games. Look who was a star and who wasn't a star. Duke is a team that's made up of a bunch of guys that fit the number 2 role.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have many number 1 guys.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got to be stars. They didn't have many stars yesterday. North Carolina State stars were stars. Purdue's stars were stars. Dalton Knecht was a star yesterday, but didn't get a lot of help from other guys that were stars on Friday night against Creighton. And, everybody's going to point to that 18-0 run. And there were some self-inflicted wounds during that with turnovers and poor decision-making. But I think disappointing. And I'm going to go a step further on the 3 games that Creighton played in the NCAA tournament. Because you could talk about this now, and then a week later, when you step back, you go, this was a good season. This was a good season. Unfinished business season, but a good season.
Yeah.
I don't believe, and this was just reiterated on Friday night, I don't think Creighton in the NCAA tournament played more minutes where you looked and go, that's what they're capable of, than the minutes that they did not. I think there were less minutes of, that's the Creighton team we became familiar with at the end of the regular season, i.e. the UConn game, through a couple of other games where you went, that's the team that could make a run. That's the disappointing part. I don't think Creighton had a great full, 120 minutes of NCAA tournament play.
Yeah,
where you went,
I think that's fair.
That team looks familiar. There just weren't enough of those moments during the 3 games.
Even the win against Oregon. I think you felt
they got handed the game against Oregon.
Yeah, absolutely did.
So I just, that's the disappointing thing, is they're better than the 3 games they played in the NCAA tournament, but it's the cruelty of March Madness is one off night and you're going home.
Well, we talked about leading up to this Tennessee game, the first halves, and even really the first 5 to 10 minutes of each game previous with Akron and then Oregon, that shots aren't falling. If you get yourself into a situation where even you have a run in this game where you're turning the ball over and you're getting disrupted with your timing. And that's what Tennessee defensively did. They were capable of making you pay for it. Where Akron and Oregon, you can only lean on 2 guys for an entire game if you're Oregon for so long before, first of all, Creighton's going to start hitting shots, and that's going to weigh on you physically to where you don't have the legs that it's going to take. Akron, again, not equipped to that. Tennessee was like, bring that on. We'll go ahead and match that. So the way that they were able to disrupt Creighton in this game, I think was something that shouldn't have been a major shock given. I think it's a good point, given the way that they were playing coming in. You apply. I think there's always that survive in advance mentality. Absolutely. And I think there's a lot of teams that maybe even that are finding themselves in the Final Four saying, there was a couple of moments where, we were a little shaky. Like when UConn has that game tied up before they go on the 30-0 run. Maybe at that point they're feeling a little bit unlike themselves. Creighton, you saw this. And even when Creighton was kind of hitting more shots earlier in the game against Tennessee than they maybe were against Oregon and they were against Akron, it always kind of felt like they were teetering. And this is where I do give Tennessee a lot of credit because they were able to match it to where they didn't allow Creighton to go on that run. And then when Creighton got their final run, Tennessee had already put up what I think was the dagger with the 18-0 run. And that's the thing also, to your point, Gary, Creighton doesn't give up those types of runs either. So they were defensively off kilter as well as they were offensively with what Tennessee was able to do defense. It wasn't a great matchup, especially if you're not hitting shots. And I don't want to because they're not in the position they were on Friday night without Trey Alexander, but that was that.
Don't couch it. Trey was not very good.
No, he wasn't.
Okay. He went 10 for 33 from the floor in the last 2 games of his career at Creighton. And I like him a lot. I think he should have gotten a lot more attention, but he's one of those guys that kind of quietly just does work and the night ends and he's got a 26-5 line.
Right.
And you go, oh, okay. But you're in the Sweet 16. Baylor Shireman showed up. I mean, Baylor Shireman is an All-American for a reason. And an amazing 2-year run. Trey Alexander has had a pretty impressive run himself.
Yeah.
But in the biggest game to date that you're playing, you went 1 for 10. And the 10th attempt was like the epitome of his whole night, is late in the game where Tennessee still got a comfortable lead and Creighton's just trying to score and then stretch the game. He misses the little layup at the rim. And you're like, wow, don't let that be the final shot of a pretty good career. So you had that. And then, and remember, you don't go very deep, so your stars got to be even better. And they're good. They're 3 of the best players in a conference that could have a team will win the national championship out of it again. Is what was Ryan Kalkbrenner doing?
I don't know. And that's
he just, the assertiveness in the second half disappeared.
Right.
And did some things that you don't normally see out of him, i.e., trying to throw the ball across court.
Yeah. Well, but even defensively, Gary, and I know that.
Well, defensively, here's the thing that happened is Tennessee, and this is the kryptonite of Creighton this whole season. This shouldn't be a surprise. On-ball pressure, where you get after somebody and you get in them, that has thrown Creighton off. Now, if they're hitting threes and they develop some space and you're like, okay. But there are some guys that turtled a little bit when they got pressured. And all of a sudden they're like, man, I don't have enough space. What am I going to do? And I thought it affected him on both ends of the floor. And I think he was one of those guys.
Yeah, I agree. Defensively, the thing that stood out to me more than anything was the amount of times that you saw him drifting from the basket. And this is where I do give Tennessee some credit because, I mean, they were relentless getting to the rack and he couldn't deter them. But there was a lot of times, especially in that second half and especially in that 18-0 run, where if you look at where a lot of those shots are falling, if it wasn't a three-point shot, you're looking at the space between where Ryan Kalkbrenner is and the rim much more than I'm used to seeing. And that's such a major factor of what Creighton does in turning you away at the rim. And so I think it was sort of a chain reaction of what Tennessee was able to do. And it just Creighton kind of found themselves caught in it. And guys that you are, I mean, even seeing Ryan Kalkbrenner commit a foul it's like earth shattering. You're like, what the hell did I just see? But little things like that, to me, watching that game made me feel like they're not themselves right now. And part of that is to give credit to Tennessee.
That's why you picked the right word, disappointing, because if you say, okay, what team played closer to their identity? Tennessee played closer to their identity the entire game. You already knew that going in, that they were going to be physical, and how much of that game was going to be played out on were they going to send Creighton to the free throw line an abundance of times. Where you knew what Creighton was, and I asked DeMarinis on Thursday, I said, what if this turns into a game where it's, trading threes for twos? That's not a good formula for Tennessee.
Yeah.
And Creighton actually shot it well from beyond the arc.
Yeah.
But there's other parts of that game inside of the arc and just self-inflicted wounds. I mean, look at the turnovers that led to points and then the offensive glass.
Right.
I mean, Tennessee just owned Creighton on the offensive glass. So the proper reaction is disappointing. And I don't know, you shouldn't run away from that. It's disappointing. And then you could step back and go, okay, now let's look at 35 games in the season.
Sure.
And what has happened the last 2 years, and then what happens, for as long as Mac is going to be here. But that's to get to that point and to have some things look like a Trey Alexander 3 of 12 from the floor, a Kalkbrenner not being assertive. That can't happen in the month of March.
No.
But that's the tournament. You have enough, and there were scoring droughts. There's not only the 18-0 run. There was a stretch of almost 6 minutes in the first half during that course of time where Creighton only scored 2 points. But then they gave you a flash, and they finish up the first half with a flurry, and they're back in the game, and they got the lead, and you're like, okay, now they're going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And no one in their right mind saw 18-0 coming. No. Just nothing. And then during the course of that, to not look like Creighton has looked, where you're turning the ball over, you're missing shots, bad decision-making, and it wasn't like all of a sudden Tennessee was shooting lights out.
Right.
There were a lot of easy buckets during that 18-0 run by Tennessee.
Exactly. Now, that's the thing that I thought was most jarring about their defense, too, and seeing what they had available for them in the paint, too. And I know Mac talked about this as a move of desperation, and I think people noticed it when they went to the triangle and 2. You're thinking, damn, they're searching right now. They are absolutely searching right now to do anything. And that's the classic example of a team that you knew, if you're Tennessee and you're seeing that adjustment, you're like, damn, we got them. I mean, the confidence that Tennessee had at that point, I can only imagine in those huddles, or like, yeah, let's just don't piss this thing down your leg. We've got this thing.
Yeah, I think as you construct your roster, and Creighton's going to be fine. I mean, I know, Alexander and Shireman are gone. I mean, I'm assuming Trey will be gone. Kalkbrenner's got a decision. Creighton's roster is going to be fine. I mean, they will do some portaling. Look at how you can turn your roster around. North Carolina State's top 7 scorers are portal guys. Alabama's top 3 scores. Yep. UConn's top 2 scores. I think the number 3 scorer on Purdue is their portal guy. So you can do their roster, and Creighton's going to be fine. But what they have to figure out is, like, UConn can shoot horribly from beyond the arc, and their margin of error is so wide it doesn't affect them.
Yeah.
How can Creighton build their roster moving forward where you can develop a bench so you can maybe play a little bit differently because you can afford to get a guy in foul trouble and sit him because there's a guy behind him? And then, if that's the case, if you develop a bench, does it affect the style of play where you can respond in kind to pressure on-ball defense or turn it up yourself? I don't think they're going to scrap a lot of the things they do defensively, but those are the things that were the kryptonite this year. And can you find a way to expand that margin of error where, man, if we don't shoot well and our stars aren't stars, what's our next thing that will be okay? Yeah. UConn has solved that. I mean, UConn, they're a wagon right now because their margin of error is so large. They can have an off night by one element of their game, and they're still good enough that they might win by 30, and you go, did they play well?
Yeah.
Or was it just the score?
Right. They can be physically imposing. And that's the other thing that we saw in the first matchup with Creighton and UConn, that I think I had maybe more respect out of UConn in that game than even a lot of the recent games, is their shots weren't falling either, but they were so physical. There was sort of that bully mentality that, you know what, if we're not making shots, you're not making shots either. And so they take you down with them because they have confidence in their system that they'll get enough in the paint. And if you remember in that game, Klingon wasn't all the way back. He was just coming off of the bench, yet they were able to play within a system where shots aren't falling. And they just beat up Creighton defensively, that eventually when they were getting whatever offense they could inside and the occasional 3-point shot, it felt like it was just a blowout, even though that game was probably the furthest thing from what Danny Hurley would consider a typical basketball game. They've got a mentality of, no matter if shots are falling, we talk about this being a make shot, miss shot type of game, that there's just that belief amongst them of what they do and their abilities defensively as well as offensively, that you're not going to beat them. It's as scary of a team, and you've seen this develop throughout the year, going all the way back to January, of like, damn, there's your team right there. And here they are in the Final Four because they have different gears. And I don't know if there's another team in college basketball that has that.
All right. Update with Jimmy's coming up here in a little bit. A lot more on basketball, of course. The men and the women tonight, you get LSU and Iowa and UConn and USC. We'll also get into what in the heck happened in Portland. And more on the Final Four because Zach Edey will be a storyline this week. Not only DJ Burns and Danny Hurley, but Zach Edey and his impact on college basketball. All of that and much more to come. We'll dabble in a little middle finger to the guy that used to be in the power chair in Lincoln. Happened yesterday. That and much more. We roll till 10. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
The Zone Hotline is powered by 42 Degrees, The Source, by your mom's house.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Pyramid Roofing Time-Saving Traffic Center, the roads are quiet in the Omaha Metro with no accidents or delays reported. Northbound 72nd from F to I-80 should be closed due to road construction starting today, so you have to take an alternate route to get on the interstate. There's also major road work on Saddle Creek and Leavenworth. Delays are expected depending on the time of the day as you cannot turn left in any direction. Traffic seems to be moving steady. I'll keep you updated throughout the morning once traffic starts picking up. Be sure to buckle up and drive safe out there. I'm Joey Colbert.
This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Romeo's Mexican Food and Pizza.
Enjoy Romeo's Grande Pizza and Taco Combo. One large 2-topping pizza, 4 soft-shell tacos, chips, and queso dip for only $29.99. Only at Romeo's. Carry out only.
Romeo's Mexican Food and Pizza.
Not your typical restaurant. J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers, offers exterior solutions that help you protect your number one investment. Whether it's roofing and siding or windows and doors, they're committed to excellence, quality, and outstanding customer service in every step of the process. When it's time to protect the exterior of your home, your choice is simple. Turn to who the Huskers turn to, J-Tech Construction. Check them out online and schedule a free estimate today. J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers.
Do you like to shoot fireworks? Would you like to get paid to shoot fireworks? J&M Displays wants you. Help shoot an Omaha Storm Chasers game, Memorial Park display, or any of the major shows in western Iowa and all of Nebraska. If you like to travel, J&M covers Nebraska, Kansas, and most of Missouri. They offer free training and great daily pay rates, which makes it a perfect part-time job. Visit jnmdisplays.com and click the Join Our Team tab to find out more. J&M Fireworks.
Are you someone who tries to drive while distracted by your phone? Someone who props it on the steering wheel or peeks down at it for a glance? Or just scrolls and scrolls? If so, you could be the next person to get into a fender bender, get a ticket, veer off the road, or even cause a crash that kills you or someone else. Enough already. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Now they have everything they need to come to life. Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas, loves expanding your business, evolving your passions. We push what technology can do, so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
Did you know that radon is the #1 cause of lung cancer for non-smokers and that our region has some of the highest levels in the country? Radon Defense Midwest can test and fix your home. Visit radonradio.com for an exclusive offer for 1620 The Zone listeners. That's radonradio.com.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor, and Ramp software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now, get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. RAMP.com/sports.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
This week's Zone Deal is Mex Italy restaurant located in downtown Omaha. Mex Italy has authentic Mexican food prepared in an artisanal way and with fresh products highlighting the original flavors of the Mexican cuisine. With this deal, you'll receive two $25 $50 values for just $25. That's two $25 gift cards for just $25 on sale this Friday, April 5th at 9 a.m. Get all the deals and details at 1620thezone.com.
Yeah. Go now. And then you can join 1620 the club. Creighton Center, Brock Weiss enters the transfer portal, becoming the first ball-playing gentleman from Creighton to leave after Friday's Sweet 16 loss to Tennessee. A 6'10 freshman out of Memphis. He redshirted this season with the Jays already having Ryan Kalkbrenner and Fred King. Nebraska scored a run in the top of the ninth, added another in the 10th to sweep Northwestern with an 8-7 win yesterday afternoon in Evanston in 10 innings. With the win, the Huskers pick up their first road conference series sweep since 2022 and swept their first opening conference series since 2019. They are 20-5 and 3-0 in the Big Ten. They scored 8 runs on 8 hits. Northwestern had 7 runs, 8 hits, 2 errors. The Huskers next face Creighton tomorrow night at the Chuck at 6. The Jays swept Charleston Southern over the weekend. They're 20-4. Nebraska softball sweeps Wisconsin and Madison. They host Kansas tomorrow. In basketball, old man LeBron James scores 40 points in LA's 116-104 win over Brooklyn, joining Michael Jordan who was the GOAT, by the way, as the only players in NBA history with multiple games of 40 points or more after turning 39. James now has done it twice. Jordan, who played until he was 40, did it 3 times. So, there. The 21-year veteran went 13 for 17 from the floor, tied a career high in threes made, going 9 for 10 from deep. In the baseball, the Yankees complete a 4-game sweep of the Houston Astros yesterday, winning 4-3. Houston is now 0-4 and in last place in the AL West. Embarrassingly, a game behind Oakland. Seems like the dynasty is over. NFL training camp is now just under 4 months away. Stuck in a 4-game losing streak to start the season and not named the Houston Astros, and fresh off a playoff appearance last year, Miami Marlins outfielder Jazz Chisholm Jr. is a great name. Addressed the club's decision to open the retractable roof. Yeah, in case you missed that over the weekend, they actually had the roof open in Miami. The facility's roof was open for 3 of the 4 games against the Pittsburgh Pirates, the last of which completed a Pittsburgh sweep. As the Marlins fell 9-7 in extra innings Sunday afternoon, the Bucks are ready to win another division. It's like it's 1991 all over again. Chisholm said after the game, "We couldn't see." When asked what made the Pirates relief pitchers such a challenge in the series, he says, "That's all. I feel like the shadows we're not used to playing in shadows. We normally play inside every day." So when we get a shadow for 3 of the 4 games at home for the first time this season, it's kind of hard to adjust to. And then he talked about the roof being closed and being able to see every at bat. It's tough to see when you're facing a guy throwing 101. Chisholm did hit a grand slam in the loss, but all told in the series, Miami was outscored 31-17. The Marlins were the last big league team without a homer before Chisholm's shot capped a 5-run first inning against Bailey Falter of the Pirates. And finally, the city of Oakland will present athletics ownership with an offer to extend the team's lease. That includes a 5-year contract with an opt-out after 3 years, as well as a requirement the team pays a $97 million extension fee, according to a document that was produced by KJO TV in San Francisco over the weekend. The team and the city will meet Tuesday, the 3rd formal meeting between the 2 sides since the Athletics received unanimous approval from major league owners to move the franchise to Las Vegas. The team is hoping that stadium in Las Vegas will be open in time for the 2028 season, but with the Coliseum lease expiring at the end of this season, that leaves a 3-year gap where the A's need somewhere to play. Perhaps Omaha.
Wouldn't that be great?
No. Why not?
Mention Husker baseball. This in today. Then when they come to Charles Schwab Field tomorrow, they will have a number behind them at number 23, according to College Baseball Nation. The D1 baseball rankings come out yet?
They have not come out yet.
Okay.
But I'm going to make a plea for the 3rd straight Monday that will Nebraska be ranked.
I think
Rank 'em,
third time's going to be a
cowards.
charm. I think third time's going to be a charm.
I think now that basketball is over and pay attention to baseball, and we get a doozy tomorrow night between a 20-4 Creighton team and a 20-5 Nebraska team that has won 10 in a row. So combined 40-9. The weather is okay.
Yeah, not as bad as it looked earlier.
Cold. We'll see what kind of a crowd they get. games on TV, so people will stay at home and watch it because it's on. People want to watch the game. It's going to be on public media. This is also, I think, not only a fun, deep team to get behind for Nebraska, but the fact that they wore a little black yesterday, a black accessory, is another reason to get behind this team if you do not like Trev Alberts.
It's back, baby.
Hey, bring back the skinny end. Bring back the black.
Just we're phasing it back in, maybe. Maybe
Hey.
by the time they get to mid-April, we'll have the skinny end again.
I mean, I thought Troy Dannon was in a good spot. Or Dennis LeBlanc was in a good spot with the run he had as a week as an athletic director.
Yeah.
Now, Troy Dannon's bringing back black.
Yes. I just hope it was, you know what, Coach? Whatever you feel is going to make this program successful, I trust you. So go ahead.
It is
It's
April.
a badass look, baby.
It is April 1. I'm not here to talk about hosting a regional. Just win. Just rack up some wins. That's what Creighton is saying. So Creighton and Nebraska actually can help each other. Big game for Nebraska tomorrow night because you are going to be ranked today. You're going to roll in here. You're going to face a good Creighton team who also needs more on their resume.
Yes, they do.
At this point, just wins. But it was a good weekend for Nebraska to sweep Northwestern. If you look around the rest of the league, so if you had a little trepidation, just go ahead, go all in. Just assume the position. 20 wins before April 1. That's pretty impressive.
Yes.
And they may have found a Sunday starter who can pitch more than 4 innings yesterday.
And
they found a way to win yesterday.
You're right. And Gary, as we look around the Big Ten, I know it's very, very early. Some teams completed their second conference series while others like Nebraska just got done with their first. On initial look between non-conference and what we're seeing in conference play, this conference is not going to help you.
Yeah. So
it is
that's
not
why I
going to
keep
help
saying
you.
just like for Creighton as well. You just need wins.
Yep.
Okay. Because people are gonna sift through your schedule. Just win.
Yep.
That's all you gotta do is just win.
You're going to get to a certain point if you accumulate enough wins where you have to be part of the conversation, whether people want to talk about your conference or not. And this goes for Nebraska and Creighton. You just win a certain amount of games. Both teams now are at 20 wins, which is so impressive at this point of the season. I don't care what type of schedule you're playing. You keep doing that. You stay on that trajectory. You don't have – use the Nebraska basketball team as an example. You don't have that major 2-3 week stretch where you just play bad and you're all of a sudden getting some L's. If you are able to withstand 1 or 2 here and there, but before you know it, you're getting close to 30 and you're up beyond 30, all of a sudden you're going to be a part of it.
Just win. I mean, Creighton's saying the same thing. Creighton's got an RPI of 39. I'm excited for tomorrow night. I hope there's a good crowd there. I'm not banking on it because
I'll believe when I see it.
But both teams are, for the first game of the 3 that they play every year, this might be the best combined record.
It's got to be
40-9.
Yeah, it has to be.
So I mean, good game, but both teams need each other. So we'll see.
Nebraska and Creighton.
That's great.
Coming together.
Nebraska Creighton Twitter tomorrow night will be fantastic again. It's been great for 2 weeks.
One of the fan bases is going to give you I told you. Yeah, you guys' record. That's a paper record right there.
Hey, this will be
one
a
of
night,
them will have.
Hey, tomorrow night also be a night where DeMarinis gets triggered. Because Nebraska will have like 12 media people there.
Yeah. He's probably still a little bit grumpy coming back from Detroit too.
This year, who would have thunk it? Creighton winning at Nebraska by 29 would do more for this rivalry.
Yep. Nebraska carried the spring.
Speaking of Creighton, here is Gary on the 42 Degree Source Hotline. Good morning, Gary. What's on your mind?
Good morning. I will leave the Creighton basketball season with my comment that when he said about legs and where was Kalkbrenner, how many naps did Kalkbrenner get a chance to take when we play games at 10 o'clock at night? I don't believe in excuses because every other team's got to play that late, but how many games during the regular season in the Big East Conference did Creighton play at 10 o'clock at night?
That'd be 0, but why Kalkbrenner? You think he's sleepy?
Well, you guys made the comment about where was Kalkbrenner, and
so you're thinking he was
making
sleepy?
a funny comment about did the team take enough naps to be able to handle playing a game at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
not an excuse. I don't believe it in
excuses. I know what you're saying. I think they look pretty
They
fresh
need
in
to
that
change those game times.
second overtime against Oregon.
Yeah.
It's just the decision making was not good, and the second half was not good. 2 of 7 on the floor, just 1 rebound. Gary,
and hopefully the NCAA will do something about those late game times in the upcoming season.
Yeah. I mean, that's for for Boston and Detroit to have post 10 p.m. Eastern time starts, that's just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Gary. Here. I wonder, so as you wrap up this season from the Creighton perspective, and you can do this in a 2-year run or a 4-year run, whatever. What they have done, whether it be a 2 or 4-year stretch, I think it's eliminating discussion about, man, remember when we were in the Missouri Valley Conference, we would just be hoping to get in the tournament. Now it's become the standard. Okay, it's become the standard to be at the top of the Big East or near the top and to be in the NCAA tournament and kind of play on the second weekend. So the standard has been, the new standard for Creighton has been set by a Shireman, an Alexander, a Kalkbrenner, and they may not look at that initially, but that's the truth. They've set a new standard for Creighton basketball. But I wonder for Creighton fans, did the expectations, did they meet? Did they fail? Did they succeed your expectations? And I'm going to throw another one in there because I think this is what I have to do because I had a long discussion on Saturday with somebody about the Creighton season. I had to talk them off the ledge, which, some might think my affiliation, I'd be pushing him off the ledge. I talked him off the ledge.
Good for you, man. See, look at you.
I said, because he was talking about expectations, like, this season is just I said, well, let's talk in about 2 weeks when you're going to look back at this season. But if I would have asked you in October what you thought this team could do before you knew that they would not necessarily have a lot of depth, your opinion of this season being a success or a fail or, it was what I thought, I think would be different if I asked you like the first part or the middle of February or the first part of March when you had a better understanding of the pluses and minuses of this team.
100%. I think if you're going off of the October conversations and the October narrative that I think I would say universally existed. I mean, even we talked about it. I think we were more in we know how hard it is to get into that final weekend of the college basketball season. But if you're going off of just the October narrative, it's a disappointment. It's a failure. It's a failure, 100%. If you get into the conversation, even in January, February, March, and you get an idea of what this team is, what they're not, I said it many times. You get to that second weekend, and then after that, I mean, you're amongst the 16 final teams without being able to forecast how the map will lay out for you. It's hard to have that standard, especially for a team that has not been to a Final Four. To me, it is extremely hard to say, well, that should be the expectation. If that's not your expectation, despite what you've seen all season long, then you're completely going against what we all thought in the offseason this team would be. I always felt you get to that second weekend, and then you kind of see what type of what the matchups look like, all of that. But the second weekend was always, to me, where it was going to maybe cut off. I never believed, like last year, I never believed this was a Final Four team. Now, that doesn't mean that they can't make the Final Four. How many people said NC State would make the Final Four? Nobody. So that doesn't mean you can't make it. But when I saw the things that they were good at doing and the things that bothered them and when that bracket came out, I was not a fan if they had to play Purdue. I thought if it didn't end on Friday, there's a good chance it ends yesterday.
I think they matched up better against Purdue than they did Tennessee.
I felt like one of the best advantages that they have is with what they can do inside both defensively and offensively. And I just feel like Zach Edey eliminates that. So then it becomes guards on guards. And that's where it becomes kind of a fun matchup. But I didn't look at them as a Final Four team. I never did this year. But I know there were a lot of people who felt their pros far outweigh the cons, which they did to an extent, but I don't think they did, in my opinion. I don't think that they outweighed the cons to the part that they're one of the best 4 teams in college basketball. Top 10, sure. Best 4, I had a tough time buying that.
So going back to something I said earlier of what I thought they were capable of doing that I saw very little of during the 3 games in the NCAA tournament, did it look like they didn't play free? Like, all right, we know we have some limitations. We're trying to squeeze as much out of this. Very, very, very few times in the NCAA tournament did they play free.
Spurts, yeah.
Like, not play free, but like fun. Like, okay, here we go.
Yeah. A la UConn.
Like most of the
in
game,
downtown
most of the
Mall.
game on Friday night, there were some sphincters.
I would say the only time I saw that, definitely did on Friday, was ending the first half and beginning the second half of Akron.
Yeah, and they hit the gas pedal and they blew Akron out after Akron. Creighton adjusted, and then Creighton was Creighton, and that's a 3-14 game, and that played out like it is.
But to use one of your phraseologies, Oregon was a tension convention. Oregon was, there was never a moment where like, they're rolling. That was, and again, this is where the way that you're built from a conditioning standpoint was probably the unsung hero in that game. Against Tennessee, you never saw that type of free-flowing, confident, just lights out having fun. Oh, yeah, try and stop them. You never saw that. So, yeah, you have to go all the way back to the first day of the NCAA tournament in that game alone.
So now, as this is what college basketball has become, you can't take any days off. I saw Zeke Mayo tweeted out his Final Four. KU, Texas, Oklahoma, and Creighton. He's from Lawrence, played at South Dakota State, player of the year this past year. Good guard. He's a good facilitator, a good shooter. He's not Nemhard, who is, as tough as a $2 steak that gets downhill and bodies bounce off of him. I mean, you whether you want to admit that or not, that's the reality of what Ryan Nemhard was. And that gave you an identity. Zeke Mayo is not that type of guy. Zeke Mayo is a really good player. I was not surprised, and he's going to take an unofficial to KU tomorrow.
That's a done deal.
I think he's trying to set up a deal at Oklahoma. But the last South Dakota State guy that transferred to Creighton did pretty well. And ironically, after the South Dakota State Omaha game, Baylor Shireman was there. Who was one of the people he hung out with after the game? Zeke Mayo.
Zeke Mayo.
Now, here's the other thing. If you are trying to figure out what Creighton's roster is going to look like, and again, they're going to be in a good spot. Jackson McAndrew is going to be a good player. Ty Davis is going to be a good player. They might just be a little bit young, and it would help to have the big fella come back. And Ashworth, of course, running the show. Think about this. So Creighton has the ability and the brand to be active in the portal. They'll get some dudes. One comforting thing, if you're like, man, I know next year might be a rebuild, and that guy on the Hill is saying, get that out of your mouth, is Mac is on a stretch here of they get portal guys. At least one guy is going to turn into a hit.
Yeah.
Might even turn into a homer like Shireman. But Shireman, Ashworth, the last 2 years have been hits. So there's going to be one guy that's going to transfer, and he'll be a newbie next year for Creighton that will be a hit. That's the history. And looking at who they're in on and their ability to secure those people, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a couple of hits. But I'll be just curious on how they play next year. If there's a concerted effort to build some depth where that changes how you go about some of the things you do on defense, where you can afford to have a guy pick up a foul or two and another guy comes in. So you're a little bit more aggressive on defense. Or if you will just stick with the plan of, you know what, it's worked. We're going to force teams to make tough twos.
Yeah.
And we'll ride and die with that. But the portal, I'm not worried about the portal at all with Creighton.
And Mac is someone that's fully embraced it. He talks about it openly. He talks about how it's easier to transform your roster now than it was before the transfer portal existed.
Look at what I just said about the Final Four teams, Nick.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Alabama's top 7 scorers are portal guys.
Well, and
Grant Nelson from the Summit League.
I was just going to say that the Summit League has really been good to a lot of teams. It's been good to Creighton. It's been good to Alabama. It was good to Texas with A-Smiths, even though you didn't get the result out of that. But you've seen Summit League guys go on to impact tournament teams to where either they're not the leading scorer, they're in the top 2, top 3, leading scorers. But I don't think at this point, if you are a legitimate top 25 basketball program, that you're led by a head coach that is still reluctant to fully embrace the transfer portal. Because in basketball, even more so than football, one guy can be the difference. One guy can change your fortunes. And you're right. I mean, you go off of Creighton's history right now. They've had a run of that where you've had guys that have come in and have dramatically impacted what they can do. And it's not that all of a sudden without this guy, you're not a tournament team, but all of a sudden the Baylor Shiremans, even what Stephen Ashworth was able to fill in the absence of Ryan Nemhard, all of a sudden you're able to look at what this team's ceiling can be. And you're at that standard of a second weekend team, but possibly you're, 40 minutes away from possibly finding yourself into a Final Four if you play your cards right. The thing that's going to be really interesting next year, and you mentioned it'll be weird to see how they play, or fascinating to see how they play next year, because I think, there's at least questions about what they do want to do from a developmental standpoint of the bench because of defense. I think when you're so used to seeing that core group together, Kalkbrenner, Shireman, and Trey Alexander, and to know that at the very least, you're going to have two of those guys gone, if not all three, how they go about it. And Kalkbrenner's an interesting one too, because a lot of what he does, where your offense goes through him, he gives you the offense, but he also is that perfect funnel. And what he does defensively, if you miss that part of it, I know you can look at Baylor Shireman leaving, you can look at Trey Alexander leaving and say those are huge misses, and they are. But if Ron Kalkbrenner doesn't come back, how this thing will look next year as far as how they go about their production. Because this is where I think we all put our confidence in, Mac will figure it out because he's got that reputation and he deserves that benefit of the doubt. But to me, that's the one guy, if he's not back next year, this thing looks completely different to where all of a sudden I have a lot of questions about Creighton going forward.
And maybe college basketball is changing. 3 of the 4 teams that are playing go through a big man that are playing the Final Four.
Yep.
The big man is
Bring him back. It's sexy again.
Bill Walton, Wilt Chamberlain, Elvin Hayes, all coming back.
And more traditional big man, too. Not necessarily your stretch guy either, which is great.
All right. Coming up a little bit later, Jacob Bigelow will join us as Nebraska is active in the portal. We'll have him decipher what Frankie Fiddler was doing this weekend in Madison. Also, Matt Verzal from Chicago, opening day of the Cubs. Ver's annual trip is there. He's been in Chicago for a couple of days. Just following him on Twitter. I think we're off to a slow start today compared to the past. But we'll check in with Ver's coming up at 9. And Amy just stops by as well. Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone. All right, it is April 1st. This is no joke, man. You have some issues. You're not interested in your spouse. It's not a joke. Your partner, you got relationship problems. You're wondering, wow, who do I need to go see? Well, let's go a step further. Do you have decreased mental acuity? Is your attention span all over the map? This, stress, they cause focus issues. And you're wondering, what is wrong? I can't even do the simple tasks. Well, again, it's not April Fool's Day. It is reality. You might have low T. And the only way to find out is to check in with my friends with Mentality. They're board-certified physicians. They work with most insurance companies to find out the symptoms of low T, that low energy, that motivation that is plaguing you and not allowing you to be the best. Let them find out if that is the case. And it's pretty simple. Again, they're board-certified physicians. You make an appointment, set up a complete physical exam, consultation, complete blood panel and results with your very first visit. And they'll try and figure out if it is low testosterone. If it is, they'll get you on a plan so that you can be the best for your family and yourself, have more energy, better attitude, all of those things that make us men what we want to be. Check out their website for more information, because I know you do, and to schedule an appointment. It's lowtusa.com. It is Mentality.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10 on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. The Connor Happer Show.
Basketball is better than football. It's time to finally admit it to ourselves. This state has brainwashed you for years and years and years. Football this, football this. We have to talk about all these football topics. Who's going to be the 4th string running back this year? I'll never know. Does it matter? No. It doesn't. You ever notice how we're so happy right now and we haven't talked about football in weeks, Josh? Weeks.
The Connor Happer Show, weekdays from 10 to 2 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Cloudy skies for your Monday. Cool today with a high of 48. Northeasterly winds up to 25 miles an hour. 50% chance of showers or an isolated thunder shower here this morning. A bit drier though for your afternoon. Cloudy to mostly cloudy skies overnight. A 30% chance of showers before midnight. Breezy. Cool with a low of 36. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV Newswatch 7.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Pyramid Roofing Time Saving Traffic Center, there's an injury crash blocking the far left and right lane of westbound I-80 between Giles and 144th. It's causing stop-and-go traffic from Q. Over in downtown, there is a disabled vehicle blocking the left lane on southbound North Freeway at I-480. Keep in mind, there is construction started today on northbound 72nd, where it'll be closed from F to I-80. So you want to take an alternate route to get on the interstate. Be sure to buckle up and drive safe out there. I'm Joey Colbert.
This time-saving traffic was brought to you by IBEW Local 22.
The electrical market requires your company to adjust to an ever-changing field. IBEW Local 22 gives you flexibility with access to journeymen, apprentices, and proven training programs. Call Bob at IBEW Local 22 for details at 402-980-7596.
Forget the drive to Colorado or Missouri. Stop into any Omaha 42 Degrees and indulge in a curated cannabis experience. Premium flower, cannabis, pre-rolls, and cannabis accessories paired with an elevated customer service experience. All are waiting for you at 42 Degrees. From novices to connoisseurs, we're here to elevate your cannabis journey. 42 Degrees, your destination for top-tier cannabis, second to none product selection, and exceptional service. By your mom's house.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call in the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Certified Transmission built its reputation on the job done right. It means hard work, honesty, and integrity.
And together, we ensure our customers leave satisfied and worry-free.
Certified Transmission, the job done right at the right price.
At Cox Mobile, we know you're smart. You brush your teeth in the shower to save time, make coffee ice cubes for your cold brew, and wear goggles to cut onions. You also added Cox Mobile. So smart. Now you're running on the network with unbeatable 5G reliability and saving on your Cox internet. It's ingenious, just like you.
Aw, thanks.
Cox Mobile, the smart way to mobile. Cox postpaid internet required. Cox Mobile runs on the network with unbeatable 5G reliability as measured by Ookla LLC in the U.S. to H 2023. Other restrictions apply. Learn more at cox.com/mobile.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's spring. Now is the best time to shop at Lenahaw for all things garden or landscape. Our garden center is filled with the largest selection of homegrown plants, flowers, trees, and more. The area's best mulch and soil available for delivery and pickup. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. Lenahaw Nurseries, 192nd and Center.
This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Fernando's.
Mario Street Tacos or steak and chorizo queso blanco enchiladas can only be found in one place. Fernando's. Great Mexican food, awesome margaritas, and a wonderful family atmosphere. Fernando's. Omaha's favorite Mexican for more than 30 years.
Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back in. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Jimmy here as well. I've told you guys before, I don't think I've ever said this on air. It drives me nuts when people text me and I don't have their name in my phone and just their number. And then I scroll back through and I still have no idea who it is.
You're looking at the conversation like, I don't know, this doesn't ring a bell.
So I'm going to out myself here. There is somebody who at some point he either got my number or I gave it to him, listens to the show, and I'm basically doing 2 shows a day at the same time. I'm doing the one that is on air and then the one over text. And I don't want to ask who this is.
Just do it.
Because he appears to know me pretty well.
Yeah.
So now I have figured out the perfect solution to get his name.
Okay.
Text my co-host your name and number.
He's probably listening right now.
That's why I'm outing myself.
Okay.
I'm going to invite him.
Roll call for anybody who's texted Gary in the last 24 hours.
I'm going to invite him to Starbucks.
Oh, there you go.
Because you have to give your name at Starbucks.
I thought
maybe you're going to try to invite him somewhere where it's mandatory to wear a name tag.
No.
I thought you were going to say 951
So this is how I see it. And let's hope like this segment he's not listening. He hasn't texted me yet today.
Okay.
Then I'll say, hey, meet me at the Starbucks on 72nd. And so he'll come in and hopefully I will recognize him.
Yeah.
Go, hey, how you doing? Go up to the counter. They got to give their name. Boom. I am set. And while they're giving their name, I'm putting it in my phone.
What if he's one of those people that likes to give a fake name at the counters?
He doesn't strike me as a fake name.
Okay.
Gator.
He's by the book.
Yeah.
Okay. Straight laced. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
One thing also, good on a lot of people yesterday. You finally gotten the memo that, just like putting your kids on strangers' laps is not, like kind of frowned upon.
What?
Like you take your kid to go see Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Santa Claus is a stranger.
Yeah,
And you're
yeah,
just
yeah.
throwing your kid on his lap.
Yeah, but I'm within the vicinity to if Santa decides to have other ideas that I could tackle him.
Well, and then you got viral and you're tackling Santa Claus is not good.
Well, that's true.
So
Until they hear my side of the story.
I'm on. You got to check out. You can't just just because it's Santa Claus, you just can't be throwing your kid on their lap.
That is true. I mean, some of the Santa
Now,
Clauses.
the one thing, and I'm so happy whenever I go to a mall once a month, and especially this time of the year.
You go once a month?
Yeah, I go to Westroads.
Man, that's more times than the mall I've been in probably the last 8 years.
I like Westroads.
Okay. Good on you.
But like around Easter here, where you have the Easter Bunny.
Yeah.
I am so glad that the Easter Bunny is like bored and no kids are coming to see him, because I think there is no good looking Easter Bunny costume.
You're right.
This is my yearly TED Talk. The Easter Bunny costume is the most hideous costume around a holiday that is out there.
It's true.
And so good on America that has stood up against throwing your kids on a stranger's lap that is wearing a hideous bunny costume. We can do better. We are doing better. Okay. Thank you for stopping by.
It was never a thing growing up. I don't ever remember wanting to see the Easter Bunny before Easter, or if we went to Easter egg hunts, that was the highlight. The highlight was finding the egg. Like if the Easter Bunny was there, I wouldn't have even known. So it was nothing that I think myself or my brothers actively sought after. Now, what's interesting is if you have a bunch of friends on social media, they will typically show you pictures or even sometimes video of their kids. Oh my God.
Now I'm getting flooded with bad bunny costumes.
And you should.
Not the singer.
But most times you see.
Kid, would you like to see my carrot?
Oh gosh, that's like you're just throwing Purdue Pete there, and let's just call it a day. They're usually the kids are crying when they're sitting on Santa's lap, because it's something about just the imposing the big bellied, jolly bearded man. And I don't know, maybe that scares kids. I'll give Reese a lot of credit. I wouldn't say he's overly excited to see Santa, but he's never like bawling. That happens probably to the majority of kids though. The Easter Bunny, I don't know if kids have any real emotion to it, because I think they're just sort of confused of what they're looking at.
I would be too.
I mean, Santa's a person.
There is no bunny costume out there that's in a mall that looks normal. No. And usually because it's all white, it's dirty.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And it usually has like this sort of fake smile, like, hey.
Yeah.
You're like, what's going on behind those eyes there?
Super scary.
And I agree. I'm with you.
So I'm glad I didn't see. I saw like a lot of family pictures on Twitter yesterday, and none of them included sitting on the lap of a stranger that's wearing a hideous bunny costume. America is healing. I'm telling you. Speaking of
everyone
healing,
has their things.
I just saw more.
Good to hear today. Oh, that's now what it's.
Oh, God.
I'm sure if I went over to the For You page on Twitter, which is just people argue about stuff that I could never have an opinion on, you would see a lot of hideous bunny costumes. Hey, good on. I saw this morning. Charlie Jr., Latrell Wrightsell Jr., who plays for Alabama, that's been at the last couple of games due to a head injury, is going to start practice this week, hopefully. Good. So he'll be good to go to play in the Final Four for Alabama.
A little Omaha representation.
A football school playing. We had Alabama and Clemson playing for a chance to go to the Final Four. And I wonder how many other schools around the country, because there's the weak argument that it's really tough to be like really good in multiple sports.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of here. Then you hear, well, like football schools, it's tough to. That's what I appreciate about Danny Hurley, what he's doing at UConn. UConn has all this tradition, but in a world where football money drives everything, UConn's doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Okay. And their football program isn't, the big dog.
Yeah.
So, but football drives everything. This whole thing of, like if you're at a football school, it's tough to be good in men's basketball. You know what? Your football program can complement your men's basketball program. And if you make a good hire, anything can happen. Now, no one thought that Clemson would get to the Elite Eight. Good, they've been good. Brad Brownell has been good.
Mm-hmm.
Ironically, it seems like him and Kevin Keats are on the hot seat every year, but yet Brownell gets to the NCAA. Kevin Keats could be coach for life if they win a national championship. Yeah. And 3 weeks ago, he was going to be fired. That's why I keep going back to this discussion about Nebraska basketball and the season they had. And it's a start. But why can't you go, why not? Why not? Why not every year have this type of feeling? Be in the mix to go to the NCAA tournament. Why not? Yeah, football is king at Nebraska, and it always should be. And if it's not, then just plow up the field, plant some crops, get the money you make from the crops, and buy players. If that's the case, if football is never king at Nebraska. But men's basketball can be good too. It has shown. If Alabama and Clemson can be good in men's basketball with the right hire, and Nate Oates was a good hire, Brad Brownell has been there for a while, and you have an established, formula. Yes, you can be good at both. Yeah. There are more. I think there are more cases of good football, men's basketball schools together than there are not.
I would agree.
Now, going the opposite way,
yeah.
I don't know what men's basketball has an effect on football, but I think football can have an effect on men's basketball.
I would say this, that if there is one argument that people make of how it is really tough to have both, it is all the fan support and all of the dollars from donors, it all funnels into football, and that's what they want to be a part of. I think that in the case of, you just rattled off a few there, and when we talk about Nebraska as well, if you have an established brand that, first of all, resonates with your fan base, that for this conversation, the N, we know Nebraska is rare, but it's not the only fan base that, as long as that group is participating in something, and if you can check some of the key boxes there too, for talking about men's basketball. Do you have facilities, both practice and for your home games? Yes, that you do. Okay. You've got that brand. It means a lot to people. So once football has subsided and the season's over with, those people directly turn their attention to that, and they fully support. And even during the football season, as long as it's not on a football Saturday, they'll be around. It's the brand that I think carries it through. And then what do you have going on with your overall donor support? Is it more spread out? Is it exciting to donate and you feel good about being a donor or an alum to support the men's basketball program as much as football? Again, to me, it all comes back to the same thing. It comes back to that recognizable brand. I think of Clemson, I think of Alabama. Their fans are extremely loyal fans to not just football, but to athletics.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be 14 Alabama fans in Phoenix and wondering, what are all these people doing? They'll be like looking around. They should be going to the Fiesta Bowl,
but
instead of going to indoors in Glendale.
But what football has provided for a lot of these schools, too, is the ability to build those types of facilities for basketball, to build those types of practice facilities as well. And then you attach the brand to it. You're able to recruit to that, and you know that you do have fan support as well. And that's a huge thing that Nebraska has going, is that it could be a 10-win season or a 22-win season.
It's also support. Like I'm hearing Nate Oates talk about Saban. And, Nate Oates came from a school that had football, but we're talking about Buffalo.
You mean support within amongst the coaches? Yeah.
Yeah, where the football coach supports men's basketball.
100%. Matt, who was right there front and center in Memphis greeting the team as they were coming out of the hotel? Matt Rule. Like that I think also is a big part of it, because all of a sudden the fans see the head coach get involved. And let's face it, not just the players, but a lot of the fans, they'll take their cue, especially if it's a coach that they respect and they just naturally want to be a part of. If he's setting that tone and he's leading that charge of supporting men's basketball and women's basketball, they're going to do the same thing.
I think this weekend showed us that argument is debunk. Okay, that is a lazy excuse of, well, we're a football school, so everything
no one cares
goes into
about
football.
Yeah, no one cares
football
about
can benefit men's basketball.
Yeah.
Tell me, Alabama is in the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama. Now, they won the offseason. They made the right hire. They play an exciting brand of basketball. I mean, they shoot 3 after 3 after 3. But we're talking about Alabama basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Wimp Sanderson isn't there anymore. Avery Johnson is not there anymore.
Yeah.
Avery Johnson, much shorter than I would have imagined seeing him in Omaha last week.
He was sitting right in front of you.
Champion Avery Johnson.
Yeah.
Anthony Grant, not there anymore. They made the right hire. So football can benefit men's basketball. And it's just like, I'm done with the argument of, well, Nebraska's a football. No, why can't Nebraska is a Fortune 500 company. Why can't Nebraska be competitive across the board instead of, well, football is king and then, well, yes, it is. But as I pointed out last week, there's a trickle-down effect. There's competition, inter-competition. Yeah. One sport can benefit another. And if Alabama and Clemson could be playing for a chance to go to the Final Four, now I'm not, messed up in the head where I'm going to tell you that, well, Nebraska can, because they're a ways away from that.
Yeah.
It can be done at places where you go, well, we're just a football school. I mean, look at how many football and men's basketball programs complement each other.
Yeah. Well,
look when Michigan State football was rolling.
Yep.
Michigan State basketball was still there, and they still are there. And, but you also have another thing. I think it's the coaches. Look at if there's similarities between the football coach and the men's basketball coach. And that'll tell you a lot, and that'll give you hope of, if football can do it, we can do it.
Well, yeah, because there's that example of like Calipari and Stoops, not necessarily, making a couple of digs back and forth at one another. Think about the way that both programs use each other too. You see some of your most high-end recruits coming in the winter, they're front and center at a basketball game. Vice versa. When you're bringing in a basketball recruit, you're taking them to a Husker game day, or you're taking them to an Alabama game day. So you're using each other. So it benefits both parties. But I do think there is that relationship there too, that if you are the football coach and you truly get along, you dig the head basketball coach, and vice versa, that's when you start doing inter-promotion and promoting outside the program to your fan base. That is part of it. There's no question that's part of it.
Yeah, look at, we haven't hardly talked about spring football around here.
No.
I don't know if we're going to talk much about it today.
Yeah, you get a lot. I mean, you have a lot of basketball that is a part of this just because of what Nebraska gave us up until the first week of the NCAA tournament, and then Creighton even yesterday. But there's still, I think, a lot of excitement about what Nebraska's doing in the offseason for basketball, because we just got a taste of it, and now we want to see, okay, not only them get back to the NCAA tournament.
Might be doing something today.
Even better. And that would trump anything coming out of Lincoln when it comes to the football product.
All right, one other request here. I guess I'm just full of requests today. After watching just probably way too unhealthy amount of basketball the last 2 weeks, is
there such a thing?
John Higgins, I know you're listening. Can we stop waiting for a player to miss a shot before a foul is called? I just have one request. Before I take a dirt nap with the beloved college basketball game, can we stop waiting for a player to miss a shot before we call a foul?
You brought this up last year, and
last year was the first year I noticed it in college. Now it happens in the NBA.
Yeah.
But in college last year was the first year early in the year where I was doing a game and it happened, and then it happened again. I'm like, ooh, I wonder if this is something new.
Yeah.
But it's driving me nuts.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because you were obviously calling basketball games all the way back at the first part of November. Was it as much this year from November on through this last weekend as you remember last
Yep.
year, because I noticed
Same.
it. Oh, okay. Because I noticed it more towards the end of this year again. I didn't so much in January with the games that I was watching, but I did notice it a lot, especially in conference tournaments and the NCAA tournament.
I mean, watching Frankie Fiddler play for 33 games, this is his world.
Yeah.
Like, he draws contact. He went to the line more than 200 times this year.
But if he makes it, no call.
Yeah. If he makes a little mid-range jump shot where he leans into a guy to try and draw contact, and there is contact, but if the bucket drops, they're letting it go and we go to the other end.
Yeah.
If it does, if it like rims out or something or is short, they're calling a foul.
It's a foul. It's a foul. It should not. It's weird when you brought that up because then I noticed it a lot last year. But then this year and I think this is the first conversation we've had about it this year. And I noticed it a lot more in the last month or so than I can remember at the beginning of the season.
Just call a foul.
Yeah,
Just call it.
exactly. If it's a foul, it's a foul.
Okay. We like and one. I was a big fan of and one. If and one was still around, DJ Burns would have a chance to have a basketball career afterwards.
Are we so as we're phasing out the charging basketball? Are we also phasing out the and one? Is that what's happening? This is where we're going. I think it's it.
I miss and one.
And I still have some. I may have threw them away, but and one had a brand of socks. I had some and one socks.
I wanted to go watch a live and one so bad.
Oh yeah, I did too.
And I
Who didn't
get a ticket? All right, Tim Kruger is around the corner. His thoughts on the Creighton season and the Final Four that is ahead. Which matchup is a must-see. Your life depends on it, and you're betting your life savings. Which game are you watching on Saturday? UConn and Alabama, or Purdue and North Carolina State? Tim Kruger, Jacob Bigelow in the next hour. Lots of basketball. Matt Verzal from Wrigley Field, outside of Wrigley Field, coming up at 9, and Amy Just stops by as well on Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone. All right, the sports calendar is loaded, and FanDuel is making it even more exciting to get on all the action because right now, new customers, you can get $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $200 you can use to bet the tourney, Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, so much more. All you have to do is go to FanDuel.com/thezone. That's our promo code, and make your first bet because it'll be a big win, Nick.
That's right. You got Major League Baseball just got underway this last week, and then you get into the postseason with NBA. The play-in tournament starts on the 16th. NHL playoffs just around the corner as well. So much fun this time of the year. So make FanDuel your place to get in on all of the action. As Gary said, FanDuel.com. Use the promo code ZONE and make your first bet a big win. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. 21 plus and present in Iowa. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
More with Gary and Nick after this on 1620 The Zone. Omaha's most listened to all sports radio station. Again and again and again. 1620 The Zone.
Are Nebraska craft beers and ciders important to you? Whether you just love Nebraska brewed beers and ciders or you're a full-fledged craft brewery, there are benefits to membership for anyone with the Nebraska Craft Brewers Guild. Their sole mission is to foster and help grow the Nebraska-centric brewing community. Become a member today at nebraska.beer and help advance the craft beer and cider industry in the state of Nebraska. Find out more about the Nebraska Craft Brewers Guild at nebraska.beer.
Watching a ball game at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill is pretty awesome. Oscar's offers the MLB package, so your team is always on their upgraded audio-video system, and nothing is better than watching the game with a cold frosty one, Oscar's Pizza, or award-winning char-buffed wings. And with daily lunch and dinner specials, it's really a no-brainer. So get ready to watch your favorite team play ball at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill, 173rd and West Center Road, and takeout at 162nd and Maple.
Do you like to shoot fireworks? Would you like to get paid to shoot fireworks? J&M Displays wants you. Help shoot an Omaha Storm Chasers game, Memorial Park display, or any of the major shows in Western Iowa and all of Nebraska. If you like to travel, J&M covers Nebraska, Kansas, and most of Missouri. They offer free training and great daily pay rates, which makes it a perfect part-time job. Visit jnmdisplays.com and click the Join Our Team tab to find out more. J&M Fireworks.
it hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, I never smoked a cigarette. How in the hell did I get lung cancer?
I don't smoke. I've never smoked. So I started Googling. One word just kept coming up, like it was in bold and red, and it was radon.
Radon is the number 2 cause of lung cancer.
Well, you don't know if it's in your home. You got to test. You can't see it. You can't taste it. You can't smell it.
What's your level? Radon Defense Midwest can help. Visit radonradio.com for a special offer. That's radonradio.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/radio. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at HIMS, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/radio and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. hims.com/radio.
Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, head to 1620thezone.com right now to check your picks in the basketball championship. Winner will receive $100 to Cops in Omaha. Check the leaderboard at 1620thezone.com. And so we can all bask over our brackets right now, which I hate that conversation. It's like talking about your fantasy football team. Good on you, by the way, Gary, because you don't bring up you mention off the air about your fantasy baseball drafts.
Yeah,
but it's not a big topic of conversation on the show. Which again, thank you.
But
thank you.
I have Justin Steele, so
okay.
Yeah, he's done for a good month. That's really doing well for me. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up.
No, I didn't mean to. I didn't even know, but I was actually paying you a compliment. I didn't know I was going to dig into your soul.
Never did I think that Lourdes Gurriel would be my best fantasy guy for the weekend. All right, Tim Kruger, who is a lot of people's fantasies when it comes to learning about the Jays with Blue Jay Banner. I know it was a bad segue. I was trying to tie it in. You could only see the look on his face. He will join us coming up next on 1620 The Zone. Hey, you can join my good friends over at Lindley Clothing. You know, there's a big event in town coming up, the Jet Award on Thursday night, and I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be dressed in a brand new suit from Lindley Clothing. And you're thinking, what? Yeah, my fit check has never been better. I'll let you pause, and you can insert joke here. But you know why it is? Because I've trusted my look to Lindley Clothing over at 132nd and West Dodge in the Linden Market. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. Look at a lot of other men. They've been outfitting men for over 88 years at Lindley. John and Marlene and the entire staff, they got something simply for everyone, from jeans, sportswear, tailored clothing, and a game changer. Right next door now is Well Suited. And do they have great deals going on right now on suits? They've also got their spring sale, which begins on the 4th of April and runs through the 14th, where they got 15% off, and they got buy one, get one. You got to check them out. They've got a double location for you that's going to take over everything you need in your wardrobe. You got Lindley Clothing, 132nd and West Dodge in the Linden Market. Then right next door, Well Suited. It's prom season, it's graduation season, it's big event season, and you got to look your best and let Lindley Clothing do it for you.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Pyramid Roofing Time-Saving Traffic Center, there's a crash block in the left and right lane on westbound I-80 between Giles and 144th. It's causing heavy delays as there's stop-and-go traffic from I-680. There's also heavy traffic on southbound I-680 from Maple to Pacific, and there's slow goings on northbound JFK from L to the I-80, I-480 interchange. Keep in mind, there is construction started today on northbound 72nd, where it'll be closed from F to I-80. So you want to take an alternate route to get on the interstate. Be sure to buckle up and drive safe out there. I'm Joey Colbert.
This time-saving traffic was brought to you by the Nebraska Lottery.
Cash Blast from the Nebraska Lottery is back. Up until April 2nd, buy a 2x2 ticket and enter to be one of 14 weekly winners of $5,000 or $500. Details at nelottery.com. 2x2 top prize odds, 1 in 105,000.
Host is
is roasting every morning. Host is roasting every day.
Put your coffee department in good hands with Host Coffee Service, providing direct delivery and loaned coffee equipment with service programs. If you're ready to change to a better coffee provider, it's time for Host Coffee.
Omaha's best coffee since 1972. Host Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
Are Nebraska craft beers and ciders important to you? Whether you just love Nebraska brewed beers and ciders or you're a full-fledged craft brewery, there are benefits to membership for anyone with the Nebraska Craft Brewers Guild. Their sole mission is to foster and help grow the Nebraska-centric brewing community. Become a member today at nebraska.beer and help advance the craft beer and cider industry in the state of Nebraska. Find out more about the Nebraska Craft Brewers Guild at nebraska.beer.
When it comes to concrete repair, EverLevel has some serious game. Coach Greg McDermott here to coach you on why you should choose EverLevel Concrete Repair. They've got the fundamentals to fix your cracked and uneven concrete, and their products will give you the best defense against future damage. It's a fraction of the price compared to replacement, and their solutions come with a long-term transferable warranty. Working with EverLevel is a slam dunk. Call EverLevel Concrete Repair today for your free inspection.
Many people go back to the dealership out of habit or because they think the dealer is the only one who knows how to fix their car. At Omaha Car Care, we offer a better option. We have ASE certified technicians, the technology to service any vehicle, and free loaner cars. The dealer will sell you a package of services. We'll provide the service you want for your car as your trusted partner. I'm Rick Betker, owner of Omaha Car Care, and we'll be along for the ride.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
All right, 8:07. Tim Kruger, TK Brackets, Blue Jay Banter, is in studio. The Creighton season is over. We still got basketball. We got TK for a couple of more weeks. Good morning. How you doing?
You're hitting on all you and I are on the same level today. The three things. Number one, malls. When I walk in, I'm so sad.
Yeah.
But I was just in Westworth, and Westworth is always
Westworth is hanging
active.
on.
Yes. There's so many good malls around.
So it's still thriving. It's still bumping.
That's
good.
There's less empty storefronts.
See, that's a thing.
The
It's a big
texting thing happens all the time. Random people, I just have their number in there. I've had one text with them like, who?
That's what you say. Who does?
That's why you got to take them to Starbucks, because then they got to give up their name.
See, but I blame Gary on this one. He let the conversation go too far that now he's at the point of no return where you can't literally say, who is this? Because you've let the conversation go as if you're pretending that you know exactly who it is. Yeah. If it was the first time, there's no shame in just saying, who is this?
Or I need a wingman. And like Rach says, hi, I'm Rachel. And then they have to give up their name.
Never works out that way.
Part of that.
I've tried that before too. And
part of that's on my fault or your fault for not putting their name in there.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a you problem.
But I don't. If that's the case, then I didn't give them my number. They got it from somebody else, and so they're a repeater texter without, And then there's I can't pick up on who this is. So we're going to Starbucks, and then I'll figure it out.
This is going to blow up in your face.
It'll be probably like a 5-minute conversation. Like, hey, I got to go. I got to call. All right, let's go back to Friday night. Was the Tennessee 18-0 run was that the most impressive thing, or was the response to Creighton's run the more impressive thing by Tennessee?
Well, that's a good question. I'd probably say Tennessee's run.
The 18-0?
Yeah. I kind of knew Creighton was going to come back in some form. I didn't know how close they're going to get. And I thought that was a big hill against Tennessee. You could do it against some teams.
But when they got back within 4, I thought, okay, they've come this far back and they've expended a lot of energy.
Yeah.
But they're going to be able to find a way to get over the hump, because it just felt you go 18-0 to then what was it, a 20-7 run?
Yeah.
Something in that range.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's still a lot of time to go. They're going to be able to get over the hump.
Yeah.
But then Tennessee, I mean, that game stuck on 68-64. It seemed like forever.
Yeah. 18-0 run though, but that was, coming out, I said, man, these first 4 minutes are crucial. And I said that the Oregon game, and Oregon won those first 4 minutes. The big thing in that run was they didn't miss many shots, but the 4 they missed, they got offensive rebounds on all 4. And up until that point, Creighton had done a really good job on the boards, really good. And that just killed them. You think, I know you can't project out, but the 7-point game, that was 8 points right there.
It's been said, I think, throughout the season, but especially in big games, that this team will go as Baylor Shireman goes. I've found myself pushing back on that, where I feel like this team will go as Trey Alexander goes. And I know it's easy to say, well, Trey Alexander, obviously because of the result against Tennessee, but throughout the season, Tim, would you be more on that camp of the Baylor Shireman one or the Trey Alexander?
I think Baylor was there almost every night,
right?
So it's kind of hard to
that's a good
say.
point.
But there, like the Providence game, he really wasn't, and then that's what happened, right? Where Trey kind of had to pick up a little bit. You're not wrong in your point. Yeah, there's been a couple games this year where Trey's in big games, and that that was tough. That was tough. Man, just hit one of those or two of those, it's a different ball game.
Yeah.
And I kind of wondered why, when it wasn't his night, they consistently just isolated him a lot of times. That seems a little bit odd to me, but and then you can't say this. They got nothing out of Farabello either. Usually they get a little something, and so that hurt them too. I mean, it was a combination. Ashworth, I thought, really let the game come to him, which was really good, and he wasn't shot hunting, and then kind of made some big shots for him. And Kalk, I thought they got the ball into Kalk more than they have lately, and Kalk, more than held his own in there. So, but yeah, Connect was on fire, and some of their fringe guys too. That's what kind of killed him.
Hit shots yesterday.
And that's what kind of, if you go back to Creighton's losses, that's what happens. It's not the star generally. It's these guys that hit 3 shots all year and then kind of go off a little bit.
So I said earlier, because you're gonna say goodbye to 55, who has had a huge impact the last 2 years. You don't know what Trey's going to do. You don't know what Kalkbrenner's going to do. But I think you're either all 3 are gone. I mean, 1 is for sure because he can't play anymore. All 3 are gone, or 2 of the 3 are going to be gone. But this kind of now becomes the last ride for Mac, like maybe the next 5 years,
right?
And I said early, Tim, they'll be in this position again. The program has lifted it into a standard where they're not going to let it slip back. Now, they won't be as veteran heavy as they were this year in terms of minutes played at Creighton, but they're not going to let the program slip all the way to the bottom and say, hey, we got to build it back up. So if you're constructing a roster, knowing what's ahead and trying to get over that next hump where you don't worry about, it's not a good matchup for it. It's, hey, we're Creighton. What do you do to build this roster to try and work against some of your shortcomings?
Well, the first thing is the 3. Yeah, I always thought Trey was gone 100%, but then after the game, and maybe it was just the ending of the game, he kind of cracked that door open again. But I still think he's gone. I've always thought it was 50-50 with Kalk. I always thought kind of leaning toward coming back, but we'll see. He had a pretty good tournament, but I think people overreact to that as far as guys going forward. The scouts could care less about that. I mean, they like seeing him against high level competition, but still, it all comes down to what and don't ask me what the NBA wants. I have no clue. Ashworth for sure, I would think, would almost positively be back unless something changes. Yeah, here's the interesting thing. We went years being really short at the 4 position, having to slide guys over to. All of a sudden, that position is jam-packed.
Yeah, do you have too many?
Yeah, now all of a sudden you're like I see them like these. And by the way, people, just because Creighton is listed under a guy in the portal, let's stop with thinking that guy's coming. they're probably reached out to 100 guys at least by now. Okay. And those guys go, oh, it's Creighton. Yeah. They talked to me, 5-second conversation. They see some power forwards in there. I'm like, dude, they are not going after a forward. Okay. And boy, how can you keep Jason Green off the floor now?
And you also have to, I think one of the greatest steps that Shireman made from year 1 to year 2 was not in his game, was in his body. So I'm looking at some guys that their bodies will look different the next time we see him. So what will impact their game? He's a prime example. Now he's already good shape.
Yeah.
But I think he has shown you enough that he's ready to take that next step where you can rely on him for 20, 25 a night.
If he can become a better perimeter shooter, that's the thing, because they need shooting from that position, and that's where Mason always has the edge, right? There's the opposite. Mason needs to build up his body and or be able to show he can consistently guard a 3, then you could slide him over there, right? But right now, that's probably not the case. Trout kind of seems stuck in his role, and that's too bad because when he got on the floor consistently this year, he was pretty good.
Yeah.
And there again, can he refine things in the offseason, right? Can he play that small 5 consistently and not? I don't think he's played it enough. So, he got in against Oregon, just got taken to the hole. Yeah. I don't think he's played it enough to be able to be comfortable with that. But anyway, that's the big thing. And then obviously Jackson McAndrews, I've always been told it. He's either going to start or play tons of minutes because this kid is something. So, that's the first thing. And then your point guard, I think you're set there. I think you'll see, unless he just doesn't take a step forward. But I mean, Josiah, I don't think people are talking about him. I don't see him leaving. I think Creighton's very high on him. And I think he looks the part, especially in practice. He can get to the rack and finish. That's very important. So I think he'll be factor. Now you kind of got to fill in that 2 slot, right? And of the guys on the roster, the one guy that redshirt Sterling Knox, everybody talks about. I don't have an opinion yet. I mean, I see good days, I see bad days in practice, so I don't know what the future holds there. But if he truly is, they always talk to Jason Green that, and then all of a sudden, boom, he took off. So, but definitely they've said from day one they're getting a 5 in the portal. They've said that back in September. So I don't doubt them at all that their number one goal is to get a 5 in the portal. And then obviously they got to fill in on the wings. But they've got, they got that Larry Johnson kid coming in too. There's a freak athlete. So, and that's kind of what they're missing, right? So
missing some athleticism.
Yeah. Tim, since I've followed Creighton basketball, I don't remember a preseason with as much positive conversation and really the standard that was going to tell you whether it was a good season or not. And that seemed to be a standard that needed to be in the 3rd weekend of this tournament, or at the very least needed to be playing on that regional final. We knew, and you follow this team extremely well too. You knew what they were going into the tournament. So the question that I think a lot of people are asking this weekend is, how do you rank this season? Is it a success? Is it a failure? Does there need to be some gray area there? How do you look back on this season?
That's what I was worried about after the game. I thought they'd be flooded on social media with, "Oh, what a horrible season! It was terrible." And it really surprised me. Yeah, surprised me with the lack of that. There's some, but not the lack of it. Look, it's so hard to get to Sweet 16. It's so hard. I mean, and then it's even harder to get to the Final Four because now you got to win that 4-team tournament and you got to beat better teams.
Yeah, and you need some luck that comes with it too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Like last year they got the luck, right?
You get the Princeton.
They didn't get the luck this year. Yep. They had to play it too. Somebody on Twitter put down, well, look who they've beaten over the last 3 years. I listed the seeds and I go, well, look who UConn's beaten. UConn hasn't beaten a seed higher than what Creighton has.
Yeah.
UConn's kind of had the way too. I just think that's, I get there's expectations, but think about it. There's probably what would you guys say? 15 to 20 teams every year going to the season think they can get to the Final Four?
Yep.
Okay.
That's fair.
So guess what? 1 out of 5 make it. Look at Gonzaga, 9 straight Sweet 16s. That's incredible. It's not Kansas. It's not Duke. It's Gonzaga. 9 straight. They've made 2 Final Four.
Yeah, I agree with you.
With some great teams.
Hey, now I'll agree with you about, and especially this time of the year, like a matchup for UConn doesn't matter. I mean, their margin of error is so large, but you brought it up, and you'll get pushback in sports, not just basketball, but when you use the word luck. But there is a, like Duke. Duke, sports isn't always fair. Duke needed luck Friday night because the best point guard in college basketball goes down.
Sure.
And that greatly impacted Houston.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was immediately a 13-2 run, and they never recovered. So, yes, there is, especially this time of the year, luck that involves. North Carolina State. Virginia's at the free throw line, 87% free throw shooter in the ACC tournament, misses a free throw.
And the dude banks it in from 35 feet.
And they hit a 3 to go to overtime, and they win that game, and they haven't lost since. And
Yeah.
They won 9 straight elimination games.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I don't want to blame it on luck. Oh, we didn't get an upset. That's not it at all.
But when it does come your way, you have to take advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, you beat a number 1 team. You'd never done that in school's history. And and you're only 3 teams have beat UConn this year, so that's pretty darn. That's a very successful season.
Yeah.
And you're continuing to build on what you had. Had you gone out in the first round or whatever, yeah, that would have been a disappointment. But they didn't do that.
Hey, so this will be a discussion all week. DJ Burns, I love him. One of the things he said after the game, he goes, "Nobody pays attention to losers, so I decided I want to be a winner." And he's going to be a story all week. I don't like that matchup against Edey because he has a tendency to get in foul trouble. So does North Carolina State's bigs. They only have 3 of them. I think Horn is better for Edey than Burns is. But we like DJ because he's 6'9", 275, and he has fun playing the game. And by the way, he had 28 yesterday, and he's averaging 18+ in the tournament. So you have that story. You have UConn's story. You have Nate Oates' story. And then you have Zach Edey. So I didn't realize this until today. He is the first guy that has led college basketball in scoring that's in the NCAA Final Four since Oscar Robertson.
Wow.
What he did yesterday in his 40 and 16, I mean, they're mentioning Bill Walton, Elvin Hayes, Wilt Chamberlain, and Zach Edey, who you'll like this, Tim. The Tennessee fans call him Foul Ming. You've watched enough of him play. You know what impact it means. A week from today, we could be talking about a great matchup between Klingon and Edey.
Yeah.
What do you think his place is as a foul drawing merchant? His place is in college basketball.
Yeah, I would say he probably doesn't get enough calls, if anything. I mean, people way underestimate, and I hope yesterday they saw, like, he's got the up and under moves. He's got different moves around, he garners his fair share of rebounds, getting knocked around, grabbed, everything. He's kind of reminds me of Shaq in the NBA. Shaq would run into somebody and he'd get a foul, nobody else would. And truly he's a guy that, stuck around, could have gone, stuck around, wanted to win. Teammates love him. I mean, yeah, I think if he comes home with a championship, and this is setting up just like the Virginia one,
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know about the UConn matchup. I don't know.
Oh, okay. That's exactly where I wanted to go. If you look at those 2 teams and you have 2 elite big men, how far of a gap do you think there is between Purdue and UConn right now?
I think there's a gap in the big men. I mean, Kalkbrenner is better than Klingon. He just is. I mean, he gets a lot of run, but Kalk, no disrespect to anybody in Creighton's team, he's got some studs around him. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like Creighton doesn't have Caravan, They don't have that athletic castle, right? So, and he doesn't seem to have very much stamina. Like, they need to yank him out of the game.
Right.
Now they've got an adequate backup, but yeah, that'll be interesting. Like, Alabama's got to just shoot 60%.
Oh yeah.
A lot of those threes they shoot got to go in.
Yeah, they really do. It'll help getting Rachel back, but yeah, man, they are just on a mission. It's just incredible what they've done over the last 2 years in the tournament. Like, it's amazing. But I do think the whole country would want Purdue and UConn. I mean, that would be great. And when's the last time we had a 1-1? It's been a while, I think.
It has been.
Gosh, KU Memphis 08.
Yep.
Yeah.
When you had 4 number 1 seeds in the Final Four.
So I think that would be, if you got You got North Carolina State, Alabama.
Yeah,
People be clicking that TV.
You put that game on Jefferson Pilot.
People would pretend. See, this is what we would do, Tim. You know this.
Bojangles would be sponsoring it.
People would pretend that they're interested in that game because of the great storyline, especially with NC State, but the numbers would tell a completely different story. I guarantee you.
Great ending to one. Which was it? The first game, second game? Under over was right there. The guy threw it up from half. It was the Duke game. Guy threw it.
Yeah.
They were like 20 points off the under over, and they, free throws, everything. The guy throws in for half court, hits the front of the rim. I would have loved to have been in Vegas right when that happened. People shouted on me, "Hey, big baseball game tomorrow night. This is national implications to top 50 teams." When's that happen?
We were asking, when's the last time
ranked in D1 baseball? They're number 24.
Okay, so
20, I'm talking like
24 and 23 in College Baseball Nation and D1Baseball.com. We're trying to figure this out, and I think this is probably the only year that both teams went into that first matchup in the 3-game series with 20 wins apiece. I don't think it's ever happened.
I don't think so
No,
either.
they're 40-9 combined.
Yeah,
because there were some years Creighton was really good, but they played a much tougher schedule.
Yeah,
Yeah,
where you feel like, well, this Creighton team with 20 wins this year may not be as overall like powerful as some of the teams that they had previously that maybe were coming in with like 14 wins. Yeah, absolutely.
But the big thing is that number one, they hit the ball this year. It's just unbelievable how well they're hitting the ball.
And Tim, I was telling Gary this when we were down on the field a few weeks back. This Creighton team, those guys are put together. There are some strong dudes in those uniforms, much more than I can remember. Like collectively, like the eyeball test, you're like, these are some strong guys.
And the other thing, other years, even if they played teams like they did this weekend, they go, oh, they won 2 and lost 1. Hey, that was a great week. Now they're sweeping those.
Yeah,
and they got some pitching, and
these two can benefit each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Playing 3 games, and they need each other.
Yeah, absolutely, and then I think we're gonna have a couple at-larges here this year, just like in basketball.
Hope so.
Boom, there we go.
Yeah,
hope so.
That would be nice.
Can you be a baseball and
we can
basketball
be a baseball town.
team?
We can be a baseball town for a while,
Why don't
especially.
you become a baseball brachtologist?
Oh, see, we need more of those.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of those.
I've looked
Baseball
at it.
American
I've looked at it.
Baseball.
They're crazy. Like you got to be willing to put a 20 and 24 SEC team in your bracket.
You know what you have to do, Tim? You got to watch a lot of Big Ten baseball and Big East baseball
And that's a little
outside
bit
of Creighton,
tough
Nebraska.
unless you
That is not the
Hey,
easiest thing to do.
You'd have to invest in Flow
sure.
Sports and BTN Plus.
You got to just watch the SECs. All you got to do.
Yeah,
really.
that's true.
But
That is very true.
All right, we'll see you at the ballpark tomorrow, and then
Absolutely.
we'll talk to you Monday for the national championship.
we will. All right.
That's Tim Cooper.
And Masters. Little
we
preview.
will.
We're already talking about it.
Yes, we were off air. We'll say that for Monday.
All right.
That's Tim Kruger, TK Brackets on Twitter. He'll be back again next Monday on National Championship Day for men's college basketball. Jacob Bigelow stops by. Nebraska will be portaling a lot this week. Will it include a guy named Omaha? Jacob's coming up next on 1620 The Zone.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10. On 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Cloudy skies for your Monday. Cool today with a high of 48. Northeasterly winds up to 25 miles an hour. 50% chance of showers or an isolated thunder shower here this morning. A bit drier though for your afternoon. Cloudy to mostly cloudy skies overnight. The 30% chance of showers before midnight. Breezy. Cool with a low of 36. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Pyramid Roofing Time Saving Traffic Center, the crash on westbound I-80 between Giles and 144th is cleared. Still expect stop-and-go traffic in the area. However, there is a crash block in the left lane on westbound I-80 at L. You'll want to keep right in that area. There's also slow goings on westbound I-80 between 84th and I-680, and slow goings on southbound I-680 from Maple to Pacific. Be sure to buckle up and drive safe out there. I'm Joey Colbert.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
What does Saul's loan on? Almost everything, like jewelry, gold chains, bracelets, earrings, wedding rings, and high-end watches, guns, electronics, $10 to $50,000, super fast and easy with no credit check. Saul's loans on almost everything.
Host is roasting every morning. Host is roasting every day.
Since 1972, family-owned and locally roasted Host Coffee Service has been roasting the finest coffee for businesses and restaurants. If you're ready to change to a better coffee provider, it's time for Host Coffee.
Omaha's best coffee since 1972. Host Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
Watching a ball game at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill is pretty awesome. Oscar's offers the MLB package, so your team is always on their upgraded audio-video system, and nothing is better than watching the game with a cold frosty one, Oscar's Pizza, or award-winning char-buffed wings. And with daily lunch and dinner specials, it's really a no-brainer. So get ready to watch your favorite team play ball at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill, 173rd and West Center Road, and takeout at 162nd and Maple.
College basketball's biggest tournament is coming, and it's time to start betting like a pro with the world's largest sports book right at your fingertips. Circa Sports Iowa. It's sports betting the way it should be. High betting limits, tight money line splits, exceptional customer service, and more. Fund and bet like a pro anywhere, anytime. It's never been easier. Download your new bookie before all of the March action at circasports.com. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-238-7633.
Hey, baseball fans, join the Blur Tailgate at Hilton Omaha this June for our 12th annual hospitality event during the College Baseball Championship Series. Book an experience for your clients or employees with an inclusive bar, buffet, TVs, music, and tailgate games. Secure your spot today and let Blur Events take care of all the work so you can enjoy the day. Plus, we're just steps away from Charles Schwab Field. Visit blurevents.com to book your group, buy tickets, or learn about sponsorships. That's blurevents.com, your college baseball and football tailgate destination.
Hi, I'm Kamiko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken. When we started our family restaurant, we were also raising a family. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Our Chase Inc. card was there to reward us on all of our business needs. Now we have a thriving location, and we're hungry for more.
With the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card, you can earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Don't miss this week's Zone Deal.
This week's deal is to Mexitilli Restaurant in downtown Omaha at 16th and Harney. Get $50 in gift certificates for only $25 to Mexitilli Restaurant. Mexitilli Restaurant offers authentic Mexican cuisine with the traditional flavors of your favorite Mexican dishes with an innovative touch. Mexitilli Restaurant in downtown Omaha. This week's half-off deal.
Zone deals go fast. 9 a.m. Friday, 1620thezone.com.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
Spring has arrived and Lanahan has everything you need to revitalize your landscape. Color perennials, shrubs, flowers, and fresh dug trees, all grown right here in Nebraska. Lanahan Nurseries, your homegrown headquarters since 1974.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
So tomorrow, that matchup between Nebraska and Creighton downtown is not on TV. It's on Flow Sports. No Nebraska Public Media.
Oh, this one's not on. Oh.
No, I saw it advertised a couple of places. Then I went and looked, and it's not.
So you should go to the game.
So go. Going to be a really good matchup. Nebraska
you know what that
Creighton.
means? That means we get the TV booth tomorrow.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
Nebraska is now ranked in D1 baseball, number 24.
Baseball state.
Hey, now people now basketball's over. People start paying attention. You got pay attention to softball. Omaha softball's got the second longest winning streak in America at 14 in a row. They play Creighton tomorrow.
And really, I know we expected more, but Nebraska is getting a little bit better, starting to find some success as well.
Swept Wisconsin.
Yeah.
All right, we welcome in Jacob Bigelow, who joins us now. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm doing all right. A little damp, but
outside or inside?
Right.
Oh, whoa,
outside.
whoa.
Okay,
outside.
just checking.
Outside. But
Just checking.
other than that, off to a good start on this Monday.
Hey, I got to ask you, as a Midwestern guy, an Omaha guy, and I haven't responded to Mike Schaefer, but Schaefer was talking yesterday, and he said there is a staple of the Midwest potluck of a fluffy cold salad with cut up apples and Snickers, and it's called Snickers salad. I have never, ever heard of this.
What?
Really?
I basically lived my entire life outside of about 15 years in the Midwest. Have you ever heard of a Snickers salad?
I cannot say that I have.
Whoa.
It does sound
I've never heard of
awfully Midwestern, but I've never heard of that.
What is
before.
this?
So I'm the only one who's heard of this,
What-
and I'm
okay,
not
what-
even from the Midwest.
Then what is it, Jimmy? I need to know what this is. It's just
So it is a
What he
like
just
a
said.
fluffy cold salad with sliced apples, and Shafe said Snickers.
There's no lettuce, no
Like cut up
tomato,
Snickers.
no veggies.
I've never heard of such a thing.
I
Sponsored by Metformin.
I thought he was joking yesterday ahead of April Fool's Day, but it's real. And so he put a poll up, and people are like, I can't believe you haven't heard about this.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
This-
Oh.
Okay.
It was not the Iowa family potluck, family reunion staple.
Or in South Millard. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So we would vote no
Yeah.
in the poll.
I would have did a Steve Sipple. I would have commented on
Interesting.
that. I would have said a definite no.
I'm sure Sip will, after he gets off the air, will respond. All right, on to basketball, Jacob. What do you think the William Kyle visit to Nebraska looks like today?
It's a great question. I'm sure they've got some examples they can point to. The Derek Walker. We know you're a more he's more athletic than Derek, but I mean they can point to him passing out of the post or how they drew up sets for him in the post. They got a few things they could sell him on. They can talk about the importance that they knew that having a rebounder like him could play. Basically, just saying, hey, look at our team this past year. We definitely could have used a guy like you, and here's what we've done in the past with guys like you. So, I mean, maybe they're not pulling that all the way out since it's just an unofficial, but I'm sure if the discussion is going on, there's plenty of points to.
Yeah. Okay. There's no question about fit when it comes to his game, what Nebraska is seeking. Do you feel from what you're hearing that I think we know on the Nebraska side, but that William Kyle III also has that same type of interest that this could go good for Nebraska?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't have a good read on it. I know he has plenty of suitors since he put his name in. I haven't really gotten a read on. I think it's still very early. I think he's going to listen to going to narrow it down. Listen to plenty of the schools that reached out and go from there. I would assume making the time to make the trip down I-80 to go check out Nebraska. That's a good start, a good sign. I haven't heard anything in terms of anything beyond that.
You're pretty tied into guys' emotions and how roster decisions work. If I'm going to join the portal, I've already had my exit meetings. I'm at Nebraska. Am I already in the portal or am I still waiting?
There may. I mean, I would assume you're probably already in. There may be. You never know, but I mean, I would think that if you're set on leaving, you'd want to get your name in the portal and start that process as quick as possible. That would be my guess. But then again, every single guy we talked about on the show last week wound up in the portal. So there may be a straggler still on the roster, but I would think anyone who is dead set on leaving their names out there already.
Okay, it's early, I get it, but in the theme of having the national championship a week from today and the Final Four this weekend, we can at least take a glimpse. How radical of a change do you think this roster is going to look like for Nebraska? And are you confident that with who we feel is definitely coming back and what type of player that they add, that when we ask Jacob about the whole sustainability and getting back to the NCAA tournament, that they will have a roster that will give them exactly that opportunity?
I'm fairly confident. I mean, I think it'll be pretty different. I mean, there's only so many known people on a basketball roster, and they've got 5 open spots to fill. So, I mean, even if it's not all guys who are main rotation mainstays are, seeing consistent time. I mean, the roster will still look pretty different, but you do, you Williams, Mast, and Gary, they, people assume at the moment that they'll be back. I would expect that as well. But I think that it'll, obviously, names will change, but I mean, I think it's been made pretty clear what Nebraska's after. Some, experience. They're definitely looking towards some, athletic backcourt pieces from what I've seen. And then there's also the guys locally that they've reached out to, the Frankie Fiddlers, the Will Kyles. They've definitely cast a wide net, and they I won't if we see some other guys out of the portal that are making their way to Lincoln for visits, then it'll really be ramping up. But right now, I'd say I'm fairly confident in their how they're going to go about building the roster. I think they definitely know what they're looking for, what they're after, but they also have a wide net out there, so they're not just zeroed in on a specific handful of guys. So I'm confident.
Jacob Bigelow joining us. By the way, put on your calendar, November 23rd will be the Nebraska-Creighton game on a Saturday at the Chi. So we're going to be enamored with the portal. What, you got a conflict that day?
No, that's just early. I feel like it's always that's a little.
It's always the Sunday
early
after the Big Ten football championship.
Yeah, I know the Gavitt games are dead. That feels like that would be like Gavitt game time. I feel like it's usually in December. So that's a Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Yes. So they must think that Nebraska football is going to be in the Big Ten championship. So you don't want to have any conflicts. No pressure rule. Okay, so we are going to get enamored with the portal, and we have seen that teams that are older do well this year. Like the Kentuckys and the Dukes were rather young, among other things that ailed them. But there's some teams that are playing in the NCAA tournament that are older because they had a good offseason and constructing the roster through the portal. So we'll talk about the portal a lot, but right now Nebraska has two high schoolers that are coming. Braden Frager from Lincoln Southwest, reclassified, and then a guy from a great high school program in Milwaukee that produced a sharpshooter for Iowa State as a freshman, Nick Janowski. What do you expect either one of them to contribute next year? Now, I may be asking that thinking that Frager has already been told a redshirt, but what about Janowski?
I think there's definitely a path for him to contribute. I mean, if his former teammate, I forget how to pronounce his last name, but I know his first name is Milan over at Iowa State. He contributed a good amount for the Cyclones. He's a little bigger than Nick, obviously, but he came in and he contributed right away on a very good team. There must be something in the water up there. Jack Golke is also a Pewaukee, however you pronounce it, Pirate product. And then Milan and now Nick Janowski. There must be something in the water with shooters up there. But I think he definitely he's got a chance to contribute. The more I watch his tape, the more I like what I see, and I think there's a path for him to contribute as a true freshman.
Is it similar to maybe what we saw from Eli Rice?
I don't know about that. I think there's, I think it could be though, because there could be some flashes where you're just like he flashes really well, and then there are some games where he gets in and he has to get pulled right away. It could be similar to that, but I think there's more of a more defined offense from Janowski, coming in than there was from Eli. So, but it could be like that.
Zach Edey, if you were an official, would you dread? Well, let me ask you this: you as an official, because I'm sure you had to officiate some pickup games as a manager at Nebraska. Would you dread working a game where Kim Mulkey was on the sidelines or Zach Edey was on the floor?
Zach Edey on the floor. It's pretty close though. I mean, I think it would be a little different than when I had to officiate camp kids that were were spending their summer around the program. But I think I think it'd be you would be hearing it in earful regardless. But I would more so dread the Zach Edey of it all.
This Final Four, we led off with this about essentially checking off every box if you are a college basketball fan, where you've got the UConns and the Purdues, you get the Cinderella story in there with NC State, and then you also got just a very hot team in Alabama. Is there something missing in your opinion, Jacob, for the Final Four, or is this what you signed up for right here?
It's kind of what I signed up for. I mean, I feel like the two teams that were on a collision course, or most people wanted to see on a collision course for most of the year, are there in UConn and Purdue, and they've looked the part, in the tournament so far. You get the whole NC State story. I mean, they're likely going to get throttled on Saturday night, but everything to lead up to it. I mean, 3 weeks ago, Kevin Keatts was fired, and now he's won enough games in the postseason to trigger an automatic 5-year contract extension in his contract, and get him a nice little pay bump as well. And then the DJ Burns arc and all that. I mean, NC State quite literally coined the phrase "survive in advance," and they have done that and then some to get to this point. And then Alabama. I mean, the numbers loved Alabama all year. They didn't play much defense for most of the season, but when they're hitting shots and they're playing their offense, which is pretty, it's pretty to watch when it's firing on all cylinders. They can hang in there with anybody and get hot. I mean, it's pretty much everything you could want from a Final Four, in my opinion. Even though the spreads for both semifinals will probably be double-digit spreads.
Close to it.
They are 11.5 and 9.5. And you got Preston Murphy, who was on Nate Oates' bench. That was a great hire by Nate at Alabama for Coach Murphy. But to finish up here, and I ask this because you cover all basketball, but you've had a chance to be around coaches. How big of a storyline is it that Nate Oates a decade ago was a high school coach, and now he's coaching in the Final Four?
Pretty impressive. I mean, it is pretty impressive, his meteoric rise. It's and that's it can't go. It's usually if you're going from high school to the college ranks, it's a lot longer than that. It's a long grind, but his rise was pretty quick from Romulus High outside of Detroit to taking Alabama to their first Final Four ever. And he's done it wherever he's been. They've played the same way. He's stuck to his principles, and it's a pretty big story. And also can't forget about locally Latrell Retzel Jr. being on that roster with the Tide, Omaha Central product. He's been injured in this. He's been injured the last couple of games in this tournament, but between that and then Coach Murphy, who was around here for a little bit, there's some local ties to Bama. But yeah, Nate Oates the Nate Oates story is pretty impressive.
2 straight years that an Omaha product has been in the Final Four.
Yeah, I mean, hey, don't hate that one little bit. Good for the local hoops. We had 2 local guys in the Sweet 16 with Trelly and Jay Powell from Omaha Central, who was with San Diego State. So there's been a good run of guys from Omaha making noise in the postseason.
All right, call your shot. How many additions to the Nebraska roster will happen before we talk to you again next Monday?
I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe I'll go low. I'll go 1. Maybe they get 1 early one. I don't think there's going to be some run of transfer guys unless I've just got a completely wrong read on.
Well, they've only got a couple of days because everybody goes to the Final Four on about Wednesday or Thursday.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I'll say 1, but that may be high. So we'll see.
All right. I appreciate it. Have a great week.
Yep. You guys too. Thanks, guys.
Jacob Bigelow from Huskers Illustrated. Will there be? I've not seen the Final Four officials. Will there be for the second straight year a Nebraska connection in stripes?
Hope so. Hope Brooksy gets in there. That'd be nice. You got to understand my relationship with Brooks Wells was on the baseball field, and it was during games. It wasn't the best relationship, but we were always able to be cordial to each other outside of it. But so for me to root openly for Brooks Wells, it kind of goes against my time as a coach of Columbus, but I'm rooting for Brooks Wells.
Somebody with a meteoric rise to go all the way to the Final Four. I would think Kip Kissinger's had a good year, that you would see him in the Final Four.
Yeah. I'm all about GI right now.
I'm sure Courtney Green would be probably in the Final Four. Maybe High Knees.
High Knees. Hey, see, if anything else, we need a little entertainment. Need some showman.
All right. Matt Verzal, who is in Chicago for opening day at Wrigley Field, and the weather is terrible in Chicago, but that has not stopped Verz in the past.
Literally,
weather
looks like
does not
here.
stop him. So I'm watching Nebraska yesterday against Northwestern, and there's just one guy behind home plate. Verse. Sitting there in his stocking cap and his sweatshirt.
Just taking it in.
I didn't know. I couldn't see if he had shorts on or not.
I'm sure he did.
But he was just sitting there right behind home plate.
Yeah.
One of the very few that was in Evanston yesterday. But he's in Chicago, and we will check in with him here in a little bit. Also, Amy Just will stop by after a busy week around Nebraska athletics. And what is ahead? The Final Four of set. The women will be set after tonight. It's either Iowa or LSU is going back to the Final Four, UConn or USC. As a great night of women's basketball, and what Iowa and LSU could break the all-time viewership record for that sport. That's all still to come till 10 on Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone. Hey, maybe you'd like to go to the Final Four. Maybe you'd like to check out baseball that is now underway, whether it be at Warner Park or down at the K or up at Target Field. Tickets for Less is the place to go for you. The best seats at the best prices with upfront pricing and never per ticket fees at checkout. That's right. Nobody else. Tickets for Less. No ticket fees when you get to checkout. They got the best selection for sporting events, for shows, for concerts, all the great stuff that is going on here in the spring. You can find it at ticketsforless.com. You can also stop by their office. Yeah, TFL is local. 145th and West Center is where their new office is. So stop in today or stop by the website, ticketsforless.com. Find your best seats to the best events that you want to be at. And you'll do it with ticketsforless.com. And don't forget to use that promo code at checkout, The Zone. That promo code, The Zone, at checkout at ticketsforless.com.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Remember, no matter how you listen, it's still AM radio. 1620 The Zone.
Is your concrete cracked or uneven? Hey everyone, Coach Greg McDermott here to explain why you should choose Everlevel Concrete Repair. Many people think they need to replace broken concrete, but repairing it provides durable protection and comes at a fraction of the cost. Everlevel provides permanent repair solutions to fix your concrete and protect it against future damage. And it all comes with a long-term transferable warranty. They offer free inspections to walk you through the entire process. Call Everlevel Concrete Repair today.
It's Champions replacement window season, and we're celebrating with buy 2 windows, get 2 free. If your windows are drafty, difficult to operate, or costing you money on your energy bill, it's time to replace them. Champion Windows is here to help. Champion builds our own windows right here in the USA. We make the process easy. We help you choose the best design options for your home. We then build your project in our very own factory. Our install team manages your project every step of the way, and it's all backed by our lifetime guarantee. Turn your house into your dream home with more livable space in a new Champion sunroom, or enhance your curb appeal with new siding, now 30% off. Don't wait, this sale won't last long. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free, and 30% off sunrooms and siding. Call 877-GO-CHAMPION or visit championsavenow.com to schedule a free in-home estimate today. All discounts apply to our regular prices. Select styles apply. Minimum purchase required. Cannot be combined with other advertised offers. See store or website for details.
Hi, Johnny Rogers here, and we are very excited to announce one of Nebraska's favorites, Larry the Cable Guy, will perform at this year's Jet Award April 4th at Baxter Arena. Now, here's the best news. A limited number of arena seats are available for just $39. Just $39 to see the Jet Award and Larry the Cable Guy. Now, that's over the top. Hurry and get your tickets today at BaxterArena.com. Larry the Cable Guy at the 2024 Jet Award event. Hope to see you there.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/radio. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at HIMS, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/radio and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
Hi, this is Stacey McGilligan, Director of Sales for NRG Media Omaha. NRG Media is looking for an accomplished bilingual new business development salesperson who wants to take their success and skills to the next level. Is this you? Our multimedia account executives work with local businesses to create marketing plans to help them get more customers. On air, digital, on site, audio, video, it's all part of what you could sell. A sales career with NRG Media lets you make a real difference in our community. Get more info and apply online at nrgmedia.com. NRG Media is an equal opportunity employer.
1620 The Zone at 1620thezone.com. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
All right, we are in the minority on what Snickers salad is, according to our listeners.
No kidding.
Justin says it's Snickers, vanilla, Jello mix, apples, and Cool Whip.
Yeah.
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like a funeral item.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
You know, like when your mom or
Yeah.
your grandma, like they had a staple of somebody passes away in the community and everybody takes food.
You get cold salad.
He's a type 2
Yeah.
diabetic. Here's a Snickers salad.
Matt says, I'm pretty sure Hy-Vee has this in the deli.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Lots of whipped cream as well. Matt says pretty damn good.
I saw it when I went on our reconnaissance mission for the show.
Yeah, they totally missed out on this yesterday. Then this would have been a good Easter item to have it. But it's not like I can now go to Hy-Vee and just bring it home just because.
John says it's
can always bring it home.
It is at almost every potluck I've been to.
Wow.
I know
I'm surprised you guys don't know.
I've been to many a potlucks.
No, I just
not saying you guys eat it or like it, just like I've heard of
Pierce
it somewhere.
Chad weighing in too, saying Snickers salad is awesome. We have it all the time.
Maybe I've had the other stuff together, but not the Snickers in there.
Oh, and the Snickers is going to bring it all together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think I've had
Lower
variations
A1C.
of, I think what we used to call like a fluff. I know it's not like marshmallow fluff, like a fluff salad, but I've never had the Snickers in there. So I feel kind of cheated. And we had our family over last night for Easter, and I feel like I need to now have another conversation with my mother about this, because I feel like as a family, we were denied this amazing creation that
She's going to
exists.
reply, "What rock have you been living under? It's been there your whole life."
Now, I would remember if I ate a Snickers salad. Oh yeah.
Look at this.
Now,
Phone's ringing now.
I remember
Someone's-
Snickers. So remember we've been talking about Wheatfields and Garden Cafe. Garden Cafe had a Snickers pie that I remember getting a lot, and that was fantastic. But a Snickers salad, no.
Yeah, I think the pie and the salad are completely
Oh
different.
yeah.
And the salad comes with apples, so it's practically a vegetable.
Which is
It has
weird.
been pointed out to me
Snickers
after
and
I said that Nebraska and Creighton are going to play in basketball on the 23rd of November.
Something else going on that day.
Do you think, there's going to be some conflicts. There's going to be some conflict with some fans because Nebraska and Wisconsin play football on the same day in Madison. Or no, in Lincoln.
Yeah.
In Lincoln.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's done with
Oh, no.
intent.
Oh no.
So
That'll keep them out of the arena.
Test the fan base.
But why? So that game is usually on TV. Where is that going to be an FS2 game?
Probably.
Because you're playing on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Everything else is going to be taken up by football inventory.
Yep.
Where is that game going to go on TV? KMTV coming back?
CBS.
NET?
It'll be the CBS Sports Channel. What's usually reserved for Creighton DePaul will now be Creighton, Nebraska.
Do you think we could work it where?
Actually, no. I think CBS Sports has football too.
Yeah, Mountain West.
Nebraska. So where this is being reported, it isn't like I just made this up and got together with Mac and Fred. D1 Docket, which sees the documents and the signed contracts come across and they'll post it. So they have posted that it's November 23rd, Nebraska at Creighton. So do you think that Creighton would play along with Nebraska's kick time?
Oh, yeah.
Because that kick time for Nebraska, Wisconsin won't be set until
Right.
Yeah, like closer to the game.
Yeah, that one would probably. I mean, at the earliest would be 2 weeks
the
out.
football, the basketball game will probably be set in September, October.
Yeah. Kickoff earliest 2 weeks prior to that game. So, are they just going to take a guess and go smack dab in the middle, so they can cover the 11 o'clock window, the 2:30 window.
Play it at 1:30.
I don't know. That's going to cut into my business of I'm
Right.
going to rent a bunch of buses, carry the J-Skers down to Lincoln, then bring them back for the basketball game.
That's a big day. Oh, you could make a killing that day.
Mm-hmm.
My gosh. A full day of that. That's where you got to hope that the football game is at 11.
People in this building on that.
And
bus.
maybe hoops would still be an evening game.
That's odd that that's on a Saturday.
It really is.
A Saturday during football season.
Yeah.
Like I could get a Saturday like later.
Or I get a Sunday during the football season like they've done in previous years where you're okay with competing with the NFL.
All right, let's move that game.
Yeah,
move it off to 23rd.
It needs to be moved now.
Why don't you play on the Sunday? Maybe play on the 24th. All right, Matt Verzal, opening day at Wrigley Field. It's the Matt Experience. It's coming up next.
More with Gary and Nick after this on 1620 The Zone. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Pyramid Roofing Time Saving Traffic Center. Hope you're having a fantastic Monday morning. There's no new accidents or delays reported. One thing you want to keep in mind is that the roads are wet, so you want to be careful when you make your morning commute. Otherwise, everything is smooth sailing as of right now. Just don't be fooled by the pranksters, and be sure to buckle up and drive safe out there. I'm Joey Colbert.
Time-saving traffic is brought to you by Omaha Transmission.
If you're having transmission problems, you need a specialist. Call Omaha Transmission and see why people have been recommending them for almost 20 years.
Transmission, shifting, running smooth.
Forget the drive to Colorado or Missouri. Stop into any Omaha 42 Degrees and indulge in a curated cannabis experience. Premium flower, cannabis, pre-rolls, and cannabis accessories paired with an elevated customer service experience. All are waiting for you at 42 Degrees. From novices to connoisseurs, we're here to elevate your cannabis journey. 42 Degrees, your destination for top-tier cannabis, second to none product selection, and exceptional service. By your mom's house.
When it comes to concrete repair, Everlevel has some serious game. Coach Greg McDermott here to coach you on why you should choose Everlevel Concrete Repair. They've got the fundamentals to fix your cracked and uneven concrete, and their products will give you the best defense against future damage. It's a fraction of the price compared to replacement, and their solutions come with a long-term transferable warranty. Working with Everlevel is a slam dunk. Call Everlevel Concrete Repair today for your free inspection.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call in the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Opening day at Wrigley Field, that means Verzal experience. Also, Wrigley Field, the sports book is wide open. So you can gamble at Wrigley Field. Exciting what's going on in Major League Baseball. But today, the Cubs and the Rockies meet on the north side. Matt Verzal continues. He actually been in Chicago for a couple of days. He joins us now. How are we doing?
We're doing good, man.
Yes.
We got in. Well, but I mean I. So Maximo made the travel squad, which is pretty cool. Him and a bunch of the other fellas. So sister said, "Are you going to watch your nephew play while you're in Chicago?" And I was like, "I guess I am." So,
and I saw you looked a little cold yesterday.
you know, it was great the first couple innings because I was in the sun. Now, this is my fault because I was late. I thought it would still start at 1. They moved the start time up to noon.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel cold. That's kind of how I watch baseball. I don't move around a lot. I kind of sit there. And then, of course, I'm getting texts and pictures and look at you. And they weren't doing very good when I was first sitting there. And then they took the lead. And then Superstition came in. I was like, well, now I can't move. So I got to sit here. So, yeah, but it was fun. They battled, man. They like shifting a lot, but they battled through it and came back and won.
Hey, so they're ranked 24th in D1 baseball. They're 22nd in Baseball America. Real? Would you rank them after watching them play? You've seen them play for a few games this year already.
I would because they're starting to take the persona of their coach. They just grind. Like 42, the kid from East came in and pitched.
Yep.
Real impressive. And this is like old athlete thing, but you can tell guys that go in there that hate to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And he just worked it. I mean, he was all around the zone the whole time. It was great. KP has been phenomenal, and 51, didn't have a bad start at all. He did a nice job. So they get pumped up and they get excited and they get fired up and they have a genuine team feel to it, which is really cool. Cole Evans is probably going to put me on the payroll. I think he made 1 out in the 2 games that I saw Grand Island Zone. So I'm expecting those checks to come in pretty quick. He walked up to me after the second game. He goes, "Yeah, we'll see you Tuesday." And I was like, because they play.
Got Creighton. Are you going to be back in time?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you keep hitting the piss out of his ball, bud, I will be there. He had a good. It was good to see it though. He's a great kid, and good to see them all doing good. And they had clutch hits and they fielded the ball well and had some hot shots at him. So it was fun baseball to watch.
Would you make it back in time for tomorrow night?
I
mean, I know you got to work and stuff. I know you got that pizza place there. It does okay.
I think my flight. I'm not sure what time I land. It would be from the airport to the game.
Well, you could do it. I mean, it's right off of Abbott there. I mean, then you get to the stadium. It's on your way home.
What time does it start?
6.
Yeah, I could probably be there like I was the other day.
We got the
second inning.
We're bringing out all the stars.
All right. So how was our start? You sound pretty good for 4 hours before first pitch. You've got all the necessities. You're not a rookie. You got Chew, you got Pedialyte. I see that there's an orange in your drink. You got a wad of cash. I mean, this isn't your first rodeo, but how are we doing leading into today?
We are good because I got Saturday night after the game. I took Maximo and I went out we grabbed dinner, and that baseball post game stuff is way different than football. They're like, yeah, you guys got this and this, and then you got to be bed checked by 10. I was like, so what do you do? And there's guys walking around Evanston, and like, all right, this is, I guess, how you guys do it. So I came back and I went out Saturday with some buddies of mine, and we got after it pretty good, which is probably why I was late for the Sunday game. And then the boys got in. With it being Easter, we didn't get after it too hard last night because a lot of places were closing down early just because it is Easter and all. So we're in good shape. A couple screwdrivers flying. I got some Pedialyte vodka and Pedialyte. So.
All right, I got
more vodka.
Next to the Pedialyte, though, I got to ask about the wad of cash and a rubber band. Is that just the Vers wallet, or was there some winnings that you're flexing on there?
No, that's just my wallet.
Okay.
I don't understand I have a $400 wallet thing. I can buy 400 rubber bands for like $2, and I'm far more nimble at the airport. I don't have to put my wallet quote through the. I just put it in my hand. I tell them, I'm like, I got cash in my hand. They're like, great. I just do the things over your head, and they scan it, and I go through. So I've always been a cash person. I'm not a huge credit guy, so I don't understand the big multiple wallet. But yeah, people are getting a kick out of that. I'm always small bills on the outside because I don't want to get stabbed. People that put their big bills on the outside, you're higher probability to get stabbed. So try to avoid that.
Yeah,
we got new blood this year.
Well, okay, so I've heard this. Who is joining you?
So by the way, any book writers out there, we probably need to get on this. Doan was undefeated for 4 years in football. And it's a crazy story. Al Papick was their coach. I think they're near the beginning of the integration of football as far as having African-American players. But it's a cool story. Probably what's cooler is what they've all gone on to do now. There's multiple lawyers. I mean, it's big business. We've got CEOs of finance. John is a newer guy on the trip. He's a little bit younger, but still a Doan guy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, my guy here is living the life. Like, if you want to do something, evidently go into accounting and be really good at it, and then you get on all these boards, and then people think you're really smart, and then you get to be part of their company, and then they sell the company, and then you get paid. So take that accounting route. It sounds pretty good. I hate accounting. That's why I am what I am. And then Al Moore and his son Tyson. We haven't seen Ty and Al in a while, so good to have them back on the trip. Mikey Ulrich, living legend of Lincoln. His son Will turned 21 in December.
Oh no!
So now we got a young one.
Oh.
So I'm super excited to get over to. I think we're going to Rizzo's. We need to be at Rizzo's by 11. We're meeting up some more people, but to get in Rizzo's and pull the old walk up to just a rocket and just be like, "Hey, have you met my friend Will?" And just walk away. And see how Will thrives in the environment. So yeah, but it's good. It's fun. There's a lot of life. And Paul's the main coordinator.
Yes.
So he's swimming right now. He's like, I'm going for a swim. I was like, all right, I'm going to sit here. Now that swim came after 2 screwdrivers, so we'll see.
You better go check on him.
Yeah, you might want to
How
text
that
him.
swim goes.
Yeah.
He's got about a 20-minute buffer here. Then we'll go see what he's up to.
Where are you sitting today?
Well, that is the cause of trepidation for my day.
Uh-oh.
In my 30s, when I drank the finest James B. Beam, I had a weird little patch there where I got real, I don't want to say violent, but I got kind of punchy. And so we have seats in the Maker's Mark area, which then allows you access to the food and the Maker's Mark room underneath the stadium. And your boy hasn't drank the dark liqueur for quite a while. So I don't know. I don't know if they have vodka in there. I'm hoping so. But I'm a little like, I might have to just like get one and be the slowest drink ever in the history of time.
Screw and bear it.
Now this is
I love that's the thing though. I love the flavor of it. Like I like that, but it's just the wires cross when I get it. I get too much, and then it goes way off the rails. Like it goes bad. So we're just gonna we got to figure that out. That's a big point of contention for the day. Like the rest of it on autopilot. We know who we're meeting. Our guy Julius, who used to be the head of security, is going to meet up after the game. I mean, we got the day planned. It's just surviving that middle baseball part.
Do you have your driver? I remember you talking about the driver last year too.
Yeah, Limo Lou. We didn't get a hold of Limo Lou.
Okay.
Paulie said he had a conflict, so we.
Oh no.
So we'll be Ubering over, but yeah, Limo Lou said next year it's on.
Okay.
So he said he'll make up, but yeah, he had the conflict today.
All right. So I'm like we tried last year, but the weather got in the way, and I know the weather isn't going to be great again today against the Rockies at 120. One of the guys that is the main camera guy for the scoreboard is a Nebraska guy, Kelly.
Correct.
So I'm gonna text him again and tell him where you're sitting, and so maybe he'll come over and find you.
Yeah, you nailed it that winter. He was on it.
Yeah,
I think he's from Grand Island.
I believe so. Yes, I believe Kelly's from Grand Island.
So we could all just say it always comes back to the 308.
Yeah.
So we got camera guys at the Cubs. We got guys hitting piss missiles at baseball games. And what do you want us to do for you?
And you still have Ryder Park out there
you on a Monday morning.
Hey, are you okay? So you said you're going to Rizzo's. Are you going to make it over to Murphy's?
I'll probably just swing over there. Yeah, I got
Okay.
a buddy. Him and his wife just texted me they're headed that way, so I'll probably swing over there for a little bit. But yeah, you just make the rounds. I'll hit Murphy's and then Bernie's and then Rizzo's. But Carol, who's been on the trip forever, she gets us a table at Rizzo's, so kind of.
Oh, nice.
Like, man, we're landlocked. We got a table. It's kind of awesome. But yeah, you'll make the rounds.
You guys ever make your way out to
Yeah.
Sheffield's?
The rain, if you look at the forecast, it says it's supposed to accumulate 0.75 inches. It's not even an inch.
Mm-hmm.
So if it just drizzles,
Yeah.
okay. I've sat through worse. I've sat through snow.
I know you have. But at least also the Cubs are coming home and they've already won a game. So they're not 0-3 taking on the Rockies. They won yesterday.
That is true. We did see that. Yeah, that was. Hopefully, hey, did they ever come out with what happened to Steele? Did he tear his hamstring off the bone?
Hamstring strain. He's out for a month. Will not pick up a baseball and do anything until maybe the middle of May. Yeah, not good. Not
neat.
good. Not good.
Neat.
Not good.
Maybe they can trade Skeens from the Pirates.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be willing to trade him. Hey,
The Pirates have seen enough.
What did you think of the Northwestern campus?
It was different than I thought it would be. I had envisioned like Nebraska's campus. Like, don't get me wrong, like it's pretty and it's cool. That thing is. There's some great architecture, which I like. I was originally an architecture major at Nebraska until the dean of architecture college told me I would change for them. They wouldn't change for me. But it was cool. It's just cool to kind of walk around and see different campuses. But you kind of have this vision of what it would be. Now they are in full demolition of the stadium. Like that stadium is in rubble.
Yeah.
The football field. Like it's down. And so I don't know.
Well,
if that was the best plan. But.
So they're talking now about constructing like a 20,000 seat stadium, like they did at Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about doing that around one of their practice fields, so they have a place to play this year.
Yeah, that seems like that would have been something I would have handled before I started demolishing.
Well, yeah, I think I think they thought they were going to play at Soldier Field, and that didn't work out.
I think that throws a wrench into their spring game plans, but
That Northwestern education just didn't really pay off in that instance, did it?
No.
The big brains.
Hey, by the way, how about the nice little subtle addition of black to the uniform yesterday for Nebraska baseball? I thought black was outlawed at Nebraska.
If you noticed, I was in full team regalia. I had on a black jacket and a red hat. So
yes,
yeah,
with the skinny end.
Yeah,
I did not have any ends on it. I don't have any of those. Okay. I had the baseball. I ran into Monty Cristo there, and we were, congratulations, good job. And I look, I'm like, do you have on that red Husker, Herbie Husker with a bat shirt? He goes, yeah. He looked at me, he goes, do you have a black shirt on under it? And I was like, yeah. He goes, yeah, we're programmed. Yeah, I tell you what, hey, shout out to the baseball parents.
Yeah.
Those MFers travel.
Yeah.
Like there is a lot of attendance there. So, and that's not the cheapest thing to ever do.
No.
So that's shout out to all the moms and dads that were getting it going.
I bet there were more Nebraska fans than there were Northwestern fans.
I know where you're going with that. That is not true. There were a lot of Northwestern people watching.
Okay, good.
There were. It was cool. Where I was sitting in the middle there, I was literally Switzerland. Those were the empty seats. On the Northwestern side, they were pretty full, and the Nebraska side was similar. So it was, yeah.
All right.
They did not like that umpire, though. That umpire was generous.
All right. So I've texted Kelly. If it works out, he's going to try and come find you.
Perfect.
All right.
I'll make sure they don't do anything embarrassing. Hopefully the dark liqueur doesn't do what it usually does.
Hey, I appreciate you being with us today. I always enjoy following. People will be able to follow on Twitter at Vers51. And I think you're in a good spot. Like there've been many years where we've talked at this time and you're like all over the map.
Yeah.
So you're pacing yourself.
Well, it was that Easter. If we'd have done this Sunday morning, we'd have probably been all over the map. But that Easter kind of threw a wrench into because even the Redhead was closed. So that's usually where the debacle starts, is the Redhead Piano Bar, but they closed.
All right. Well, you have time to make up for it. As always, I appreciate it. Enjoy the game and bring home a win.
And if you worry, Paul has made it back from the pool. So
Okay,
everything
good.
is good.
Good.
Thankfully.
The crew is intact.
Thanks, Verse.
It was.
Yeah.
It's the annual trip with some older guys.
Yeah.
A little bit older than Verse.
I'm worried about the 21-year-old. To be exposed to what is explained as, a fun, but ultimately a blank show. You get a 21-year-old, and usually you want to show the older guys your medal. This might be the wrong, just from what I'm gathering, this might be the wrong crew to do that. But I also feel like they would not, because it's his dad, right? It's also on the trip.
I'm not sure of this year if it is.
Okay. I would think in order for a 21-year-old to crack the crew there, that they feel pretty confident that person can do this responsibly. But man, opening day and your first legal year of being able to drink, I just don't know if you could help yourself.
And it
That's
already
tough.
is a blank show around Wrigley to begin with every single day.
And you just want to join in on that.
You got to stay warm today.
It'd be cold. It'd be really cold.
Wet cold,
Yeah,
too.
it's in the 40s, right?
Yeah, first pitch is supposed to be like 42.
No, thank you.
There'll be a Japanese left-hander for the Cubs. They'll be like, I only start pitching when it's May, June, and July.
Ichiro's
I'll
at
pitch in
Kansas
August.
City was warm.
Hey, how about the Royals? Royals starting pitching did really, really well over the weekend.
Baseball town now.
They lost 2 of 3 to the Twins. Well, baseball town tomorrow because tomorrow's the big vote. Which
can't get a feel. one
I
way or
noticed
the
some
other.
people got really upset. If you were watching the Royals TV broadcast this weekend, John Sherman was on there, and they are talking nonstop about the stadium. And I had friends. I'm looking at the K guys, and I'm thinking, why are they moving?
It's a nice place. People have called it Dodger Stadium of the American League.
And then to look at what the Chiefs are going to do, and basically they're not going to do like a Chiefs town.
Yeah.
They're just going to expand it for parking. I think it'll pass tomorrow where the Royals get their downtown stadium. The Chiefs are able to get a couple of breaks to do some things with Arrowhead.
They'll have Mahomes go on
But
TV, tell him to vote
just
yes.
Being at the K and look at it and go, why?
Yeah, and I know you were just there. I hate that location. I love the baseball
Where the
stadium.
K is now in Arrowhead?
Yeah.
What do you have against the FCA headquarters?
And what's the hotel?
The Drury Inn.
The Drury Inn with the
Many
there
a
was
fun
a, there was
has
a
been
there's a
had in the
Perkins or a
Drury Inn.
Denny's. is that right
Denny's
there?
burnt down.
Oh, burnt down. I
smelled wonderful.
I am a big fan of being able to spill out of a ballpark with options around.
You can
And
always
you
spill out
can't
of a
do that.
You got the Amoco station across the street.
There's a Subway. At least there used to be.
Just load up on a bunch of Fireball there.
Maybe get
Take it
back,
back downtown
on the freeway and you go down a couple exits. There's a lot of stuff down there.
There's a dispensary not far from there.
Oh, there are things down there. Let me tell you.
Quick note here before we get to Amy just after the break.
Got myself getting off Paseo Drive. That's a little further down.
They've cleaned up Paseo Drive.
Have they?
Yeah,
what about
that
Troost?
used
What
to
about
be
Troost?
Well, because they've had a revitalization of parts of downtown.
Yeah.
So both of those streets, which in the past used to be a little rough.
Yeah.
They've cleaned them up. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not saying go and hang out there and take the family and just walk up and down, but they're not
matching
they're not
Mickey
as-
Mouse
they're-
hats.
They're not as bad.
Okay.
But tomorrow's the big day, the vote in Kansas City for the Royals and the Chiefs. But John Sherman and like Ryan is talking about the stadium like almost every inning about get out and vote if you can't. If you're like he's not talking to us Omahans
About the new stadium?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Come
vote
vote down here.
Like
Vote.
vote tomorrow because tomorrow's the vote.
Yeah.
The mayor has endorsed it. I don't know,
Young
it's
Jake
just-
probably interviewed John Sherman.
The K is a nice place.
It doesn't impact me because
lots of quick trip logos.
I'm not a Royals fan, but I like to go out there, especially when Cleveland's in town. Try to do it at least once or twice a year. I just know that it'd be great to be able to get a hotel downtown.
Adams Mark.
Stick
You
around
got the water park
downtown.
there.
Yeah.
How far away is that?
So right
Close
across
enough.
it's right across the freeway.
Yeah, you can
It's on
spill
the other
out
side
over
of the freeway.
there.
You can see
Yeah.
it when you're sitting in the stadium. You can see the Adams Mark.
Can I drink there?
You can drink
At the
anywhere.
Adams Mark?
Yeah.
It's a hotel.
Yeah.
A hotel with a water park.
hotel with a water park. Okay.
Yeah.
Stop at the
Okay.
Amoco, get you a case. They
Again,
sell the hard stuff in the grocery store.
You guys are doing a really bad job of selling this to me. Okay. And the K itself, once you get in the stadium, I'm with you. I like the stadium. It's great.
Take your Snickers
just-
salad, go to the Adams Mark with your
Yeah,
beer.
do a potluck at the hotel before you go
Yes.
out, and then afterwards, and then you go to the you said an Amico
will
Amico
tailgating
station.
still be a thing?
See, I like to, that's
at the new place.
That is the
No.
great place, or the great thing about that location. If you are a tailgating fan, you're not going to find anything better.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be able to do that downtown. But I think I've moved on from needing the tailgate spot to needing a place to set up, have a beer, have a sandwich before the game and after, and have options around.
I did all those things too. I just had 10 of them.
10 options? Or
10
10 beers?
10 beers.
Oh, well, yeah.
What you did, you socialized with your friends in the parking lot.
And
outside
I
the
enjoy
beautiful
doing that.
stadium.
But I like having options. I like everything just like kind of in one area. I don't like to, basically, I don't like to get into my car. If I go to a game,
That's fair.
I just like to walk around.
That's fair.
But I also don't want to walk like 20 miles and have to walk on a highway either or anything like that. So.
No, don't walk on a highway. You'll end up on the news.
Yeah, that's true.
Favorite Jonathan Lawson moment?
Did he just hit the transfer portal?
He is in the transfer portal.
Oh, boy.
So he transferred after 2 years in Memphis, came here to Omaha last year. He's the second Creighton player in the portal behind Brock Weiss. 17 games, 59 minutes.
Yeah, I'm trying to think the last blowout.
I saw
Creighton had.
so I went to the Florida A&M game.
Oh, there you go.
I saw him play
Wait, I
15
was there
minutes.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever happened to the next what would be 41 minutes or 44 minutes over 16 games.
Well, that was reserved for the big.
I thought he would play a little bit more, but he got here and realized it's a little bit different. Like if you couldn't have cracked a rotation of 6 to 8 this year,
you're not going to.
Yeah,
and it's probably leading to that decision,
well, especially when they were looking for options off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
So he is in the portal. He'll be looking for his third school.
Is this the best day to hit the portal? I would think this would not be.
I think he got in the UConn game. I think pretty much everybody played in that game. So I bet his.
I would hope so. If you were in a blowout and you didn't play,
you
should have transferred right then.
Then yeah, you were just waiting for it to officially open. But yeah, so I think that's probably the last significant playing time he got was UConn
All right.
game.
So I'm sure there'll be exit meetings have already happened or they are happening. I can't read that on air. So we'll wait to see decisions by Trey Alexander and Ryan Kalkbrenner. All right, Amy Just is coming up next on 1620 The Zone.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10 on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. You get a lot of junk in your inbox. This one, not junk. Not junk at all. 1620 the email. Exclusive content, contests, other stuff probably. Subscribe today at 1620thezone.com. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Cloudy skies for your Monday. Cool today with a high of 48. Northeasterly winds up to 25 miles an hour. 50% chance of showers or an isolated thunder shower here this morning. A bit drier though for your afternoon. Cloudy to mostly cloudy skies overnight. The 30% chance of showers before midnight. Breezy. Cool with a low of 36. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV Newswatch 7.
Host is roasting every morning. Host is roasting every day.
Put your coffee department in good hands with Host Coffee Service, providing direct delivery and loaned coffee equipment with service programs. If you're ready to change to a better coffee provider, it's time for Host Coffee.
Omaha's best coffee since 1972. Host Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
When I heard the words, "you have breast cancer," I said, I have no idea what I'm going to do. My OBGYN called me and said, I know exactly what we're going to do, which led me to Nebraska Cancer Specialists. From day one, I felt that I was at the right place. There were some pretty rough times, but together we are stronger and they are there for you. You do not feel that you are alone. NebraskaCancer.com.
If you have a large amount of gold or precious metals and want the best price with no waiting, Saul's makes it easy and fast. Any amount of gold, silver, or jewelry, no limit, immediate payment. Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
News Talk 1290 Coil is your radio home for Omaha Storm Chasers baseball, proud AAA affiliate of the Kansas City Royals. Tune in to hear every pitch, every hit, and every out as the Chasers play at Warner Park and across the International League in 2024. With the voice of the Omaha Storm Chasers, Nick Batters, on News Talk 1290 Coil.
Tune in at 1290 Coil all season long for your Omaha Storm Chasers baseball as they take on the International League. It's Storm Chasers baseball on 1290 Coil.
The Zone Hotline is powered by 42 Degrees. The Source. By your mom's house.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/radio. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at HIMS, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/radio and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. hims.com/radio.
The backseat. Check the backseat. All right, come here. Check the backseat.
Gets in your head, right? Good. Because every year, dozens of children are forgotten in the backseat of a car by a parent or caregiver. All never thought it could happen to them. But with changes in routines, distractions, or a sleeping child, it can happen to anyone. Parked cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. So get it in your head.
Check the backseat.
A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
All right, Amy, just time on a Monday. We welcome in the fine columnist from the Lincoln Journal-Star. Good morning.
Hello. How's it going?
It is going well. What is your anticipation or excitement level to watch LSU, Iowa, UConn, USC women's basketball tonight?
It is appointment television. If you don't tune in to those games, you're not a basketball fan, unless you have something going on, obviously. But like,
thank you. No, I don't have anything going on, but no, you're right.
Like, you're not a basketball fan. Like, I'm so glad that the women's game has gotten, so much attention. I am frustrated that the game, this tournament, keeps getting plagued by stupidity. But the court thing in Portland, what the hell, guys?
Yeah.
It took by the way, it took a fan to point it out.
That's so bad.
And did you hear Vic Schaefer after the game, the Texas coach? I thought he was spot on.
Yeah.
Why? And Amy, that's a big question. Why does women's basketball is as popular as it's ever been, yet the decision makers, part of it with the NCAA, they can't get out of their own way. And this is a crucial time for them to do things the right way. You have all the eyeballs right now.
Yeah, well, if I had the answer to that, I'd be very rich and I wouldn't be talking to you. So, it's not that hard to do things the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, here we are. Between the court thing and the LA Times column and all of this stupid stuff. Sorry, I almost swore. That column was awful. So just stop.
So also I'll add, you remember they had to remove a ref at halftime because she was reffing her alma mater.
Yep, that also happened. How does that happen?
It's disrespectful to the participants.
Yep.
Yes. And then with that official, they didn't replace her.
No, they didn't. Yeah. So you brought up, so there were two, and I'm in a pool now of which is the next newspaper to write a story about Kim Mulkey and LSU. Mm-hmm. And I want to buy a t-shirt and wear it proudly that is the Dirty Debutantes in LSU color.
Yeah.
So let's go. Hold on. Let's look at both of these. The Washington Post piece was really nothing new. It just showed if you already knew the backstory of her relationship, her strange relationship with her father, or she is who she is, and she's gotten to a place to be very successful by being someone that isn't the nicest of the world. She's human, is what it was. But why the LA Times profile, which kind of like I think is the one that has gotten more people upset than the Kent Babb piece in the Post?
Well, that column hit all of the things. It was sexist, it was racist, and for those, who have how do I phrase this? Who know the X-rated catalog, porn references. Like, do not Google Dirty Debutantes. I guess you could probably get away with it now because it's all going to be references to that column.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't Google that if you're at work or around your children. Just, like, what are we doing? And like, that's the thing. Like, this person is not a columnist. He's their beat writer for UCLA. But it wasn't just the Dirty Debutantes line. It was like the insinuation that a team full of Black athletes is dirty and villains, and the team that has a lot of white players is milk and cookies. Like, what are we doing? Like, Jesus.
So why? So oh, by the way, another thing that has plagued the women's tournament. Remember, we relocated some women's teams so they could be accosted by racists in Idaho. Why? Okay, so why can't we have a normal conversation about LSU from their head coach to Angel Reese, who's not even this year the number one player on that roster, to Caitlin Clark, to Juju Watkins, to Paige Beckers, to Gino Auriemma? Why in women's basketball can't we have normal conversations?
Because so many people coming into the conversation have never covered women's athletics, and they don't know how to do it without their perceptions of women's athletics getting in the way. Like, the person who wrote that article, from what I've gathered from talking to people, is that he didn't cover much UCLA women's basketball, no UCLA gymnastics, like none of their sport, like female sports, has he covered. And so he gets thrown into this and just hits all of the grossness. And I'm not saying that people who don't watch women's sports like see women's sports that way, but like, you gotta watch the game and not come into it with a prejudice like that, especially if you're going to write about it. But the thing that like also bothers me about it is that someone edited that supposedly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it got through. Like,
and they have re-edited it.
Yes. Yeah.
They should have just pulled it, because it wasn't just those two lines that were bad. Like, the sexism and racism was threaded throughout it. Like, they should have just retracted the whole thing.
Yeah. And Kim Mulkey, I will say this in response to it. I felt like her tone was well placed, especially with sticking up for her team. This is, and it makes me look at this game tonight where I do feel, whether you're LSU or you're just the defending national champions, there's always going to be a little bit of that, okay, the next team you're maybe kind of rooting for the upset. I don't think anybody considers Iowa to be this massive underdog considering they have Caitlin Clark. But I always felt like there was going to be a lot of people polling for Iowa, and there still probably is. I do think, however, with what has transpired in the last couple of days, and I think, again, going back to the way that Kim Mulkey handled herself in sticking up for her team, I think there becomes a little bit of a redeeming quality about LSU that maybe some people didn't necessarily see if they were kind of on the outside looking in.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that, but why can't we just talk about basketball? Like,
Right.
why do we
Great
have
night for
to
basketball.
Yes, it's a great night for basketball, and I'm already predicting it now. There are going to be a lot of people who will be pearl clutching at all of the trash talk and all of the stuff that comes with basketball. Like, are we going to tell, any of your standard NBA men's basketball players, oh, don't trash talk, it's unbecoming of people who are supposed to be, these moral, citizens and all of these, you're supposed to be a role model for all these children. No, we're not saying that to any of them, but we're saying it to the women because God forbid women be assholes. God forbid. Sorry, it makes me very upset.
No, that's okay.
Also, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on the radio, but I guess I did.
No, you're not, but that's okay. Let's shift to something that I don't think you're going to drop a-hole on, and that's
Sorry.
Hey,
that's okay.
It's a passion. Let it flow, Amy.
You got a column here I think is ready to be written by you.
I'm writing about CJ Wilcher today, not about basketball. Well, yes, basketball.
Have you talked to CJ since he made his decision?
So I went to church with him yesterday, and then we're getting coffee here in a little bit. So
okay, and you have written about him before, and I have written a column where I think people got to know more about him, which people have already were fans. They're like, oh, I really like this guy, so I'm looking forward to that. Let's talk about Troy Dannon the other day, and before he got here, the relationship between 1890 and the athletic director was not kosher. Okay, there were butting of heads. Down the road, Trev was really looking forward to when the NCAA made a move and you could take NIL in-house. But they never seemed to be on the same page, and coaches maybe didn't know how to act. Like, do we want this? How do we embrace it? Troy Dannon embraced it immediately. So what does that mean for Nebraska moving forward, that the athletic director is all in on the future of college athletics, essentially the pay for play, but now speaks out loud about it, that yes, it is here. I'm embracing it. This is what we need to do. This is what we are going to do. What impact do you think that'll have in Lincoln?
I think it'll have a pretty big impact, because if you get mixed messaging, and that it doesn't matter if you're a coach or you're a player or you're a booster or you're just a general fan, right? If you get mixed messaging about something, why would you wholeheartedly support it if you don't know to support it, right? And so I wonder what the monetary value has looked like this week. Like, have they been getting more donations this week? Because you have your athletic director coming out and saying, if we don't support this 100%, then we're going to be behind. And I'm not talking about the big boosters. I'm talking about your just like standard everyday people, right? Just like giving, it's Easter time. We're feeling the generosity. We'll give $100 or something. Like, sorry, I'm losing my voice. The women's basketball rant got me going. So that's what I wonder. I wonder if there's going to be more buy-in from fans with it. I know NIL is not everyone's favorite thing here, because I hate to break it to you, it's not 1995 anymore. Like, things have changed drastically. So, and for Nebraska to, get back to that, you have to do what the other teams are doing. I'm not saying, cheat like Michigan. I'm not saying that. But, like, you have to fully fund your NIL to even be competitive, to get the players who will help you. Like, the Dylan Raiolas of the world aren't coming around every day and they, want to come here because their dad played here and they want to, fulfilled that legacy. Like, you have to find ways to get people to come here who don't have a connection to here. And part of that's winning, right? You need to win, but you also have to have the infrastructure to compete. And that's not just the NIL stuff, but it's the new weight room that they have, the new facility that they have, you know, not just a winning culture around football, but a winning culture everywhere. And you're seeing that, right? Like, Volleyball Day in Nebraska was a huge recruiting tool. You know, the basketball success, men and women, that's a recruiting tool, right? Like, when you see all of these really cool things happening in an area that is hard to recruit to because it's in the middle of nowhere, right? Like, you have to build up everything else to get people to want to come here. And so the NIL is part of that. And if we ignore that, then Nebraska is going to be behind for the rest of eternity.
You hit on a good point, because when Gary and I have discussed this before, and I think it can be generational as well, of if you were to make a donation, would you prefer to go to NIL or would you prefer to go into a stadium project? I said in my stage of life at 45 years old, I probably would maybe appreciate putting it towards a stadium project, because for the next 10 years, I could see that I had an impact in watching that thing develop, or at least, you know, I played a part in it. But you bring up probably the ultimate question: what is going to help the team win more? And I think we all want to see that right now. As great as a new amenities with a stadium would be, is that helping this team win in the now as opposed to putting that money into NIL?
I mean, maybe, but I think that when you put the money where you're going to see the most immediate impact for anything, right? Not just winning football games, but for anything, that usually comes out ahead in the short term. And sometimes the long term too. You know, college kids for the most part aren't coming to schools for the stadium. Like, it's a part of it, right? Like, I'm sure Northwestern's having a really hard time recruiting right now because they don't have a football stadium. But, like, it's the support, financial and institutional. It's, you know, how do you fit in the system? How do you get along with the coaches? What is the, you know, infrastructure like? What's the weight room like? Like, what is the culture like? Like, it's not, oh, well, we play in this really cool old historic building. Like, it's part of it, but it's not the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We appreciate it. Thank you. I'm sure you'll be getting a letter from the FCC, but that's okay.
I'm sorry. At least it wasn't. I almost dropped an F-bomb last week and I didn't. So that would have been worse.
I like it.
Right,
so you're saying it could have been worse.
All
I
right,
like
so
it.
we almost went 2 for 2. This is awesome. Whatever we can do to push the button to get you to swear on air, that's now a game.
Look, every time I say stuff, you know I don't mean stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you for doing that.
Yes.
Hey,
Gosh.
I caught myself a lot today, but oh well. I'm sorry.
Well, I look forward to your column on CJ Wilcher, and who knows what else is coming up this week. As always,
My
thank you for your time.
vacation is coming up this week. So
Okay, yeah, there you go.
I
All
live
right. All right. Enjoy it. You deserve it, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
It's Amy Justa, the Lincoln Journal-Star.
Bit triggered.
Let me Google if that's because I did.
No, you're not supposed to.
I did Google dirty debutantes.
Oh yeah,
I did not know that.
Mm.
I just thought it was you're a debutante. I did not know it was an actual magazine.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Why don't you go home and with your wife Google it?
Just say, hey,
we're watching LSU tonight. This is what they're called.
Yeah, let's take a look. Oh, Reese, go to the different room.
Might produce another Reese. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll put a wrap on this Monday edition of Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley. best way to catch all the action is on 1620 The Zone. And no line for the bathroom.
If you're looking to upgrade your kitchen or bathroom or create a functional storage solution for your closets, pantry, or garage, make Level countertops, cabinets, and flooring your first choice to take your space to the next level. Level is a unique company that can design, build, and install custom cabinetry, fabricate and install all countertop surfaces, and supply and install floor finishes and tile. Stop into the showroom at 192nd and West Maple today or visit levelomaha.com. That's levelomaha.com.
My doctor told me my cholesterol is borderline, so I took control with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula. Garlic helps maintain healthy cholesterol safely and naturally. It's odor and taste-free, and Garlic is a world leader in garlic potency. I'm taking charge of my cholesterol with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula, cholesterol's natural enemy.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
Mexitley Restaurant by Chef Alberto Cardenas offers you an authentic Mexican cuisine experience with the traditional flavors of your favorite Mexican dishes with an innovative touch. At Mexitley Restaurant, they offer you the experience of tasting Mexico in every bite. The best tacos, birria, quesadillas, and more. Visit them at Mexitley Restaurant in downtown Omaha at 16th and Harney, and look them up on Facebook at Mexitley Restaurant or call 531-772-0550 to order.
It's one thing falling in love with a house, picturing yourself moving in and calling it home, and quite another navigating the world of price negotiating, mortgage lenders, and finding the budget that works best for you. An agent who's a realtor can make understanding that world easier. Realtors have the expertise, access to proprietary data, and tools to help you get from imagining living somewhere to actually doing it. That's the kind of help we can provide. Because that's who we are. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
All right, projected 11 million people will watch at the peak tonight, LSU and Iowa women at 6 o'clock on ESPN. They have to be in heaven that they have that matchup. So we get Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, who don't need each other, by the way.
They don't.
Angel Reese was already had a brand going and her style before Caitlin Clark came along. So we get them tonight. We also get a good basketball game, and the winner goes on to the Final Four.
And then, oh, yeah, stay tuned for Juju and Paige, if you feel so inclined, because this is just a showcase tonight. This is great. This is the first
one's at 6, so I'll be all in.
Yeah, they were thinking of you, Jimmy. I was wondering what would be more beneficial, but I think that the 6 o'clock game, the Iowa LSU game at 6 o'clock, is I think definitely the spot for that, because then you got a 7 o'clock East Coast. Yeah, this is a prime spot for it.
TV trays,
Well,
and
and
Hungry Man dinners.
Then the reason they're playing at 6 because they are on the East Coast.
Right. Oh, wow. Really? They do that in women's basketball? That's good.
Yeah, there's some things women's basketball
man.
does not do well.
Yeah, that one's good.
But they can kind of figure out the times.
Albany and 7 o'clock, that looks good.
When you watch the regional in Portland, the floor will look about back to normal. What if you protested? What if you played? What if you were Duke or you were Stanford?
It's a big thing.
And
in
you
Portland.
lost and you protested because now they've gone into all kinds of stats. So the 3-point shooting in Portland is down 20%. But you would have thought like a Stanford or Duke nerd would have picked that out.
They have lots of nerds.
It took a fan to point it out.
Yeah, and you're right. It was the classic golf ruling way of discovering that. Like, I can't believe even. I mean, most of the teams too have analytics. So you're right. The people that are involved in just doing a lot of the different prep work, you would think maybe would notice something as well. But
I mean, good on both teams yesterday that said, no, we're just going to play.
Yeah, because what did they say? It would have taken an hour. I
Yeah.
think an hour additional delay to correct that.
But don't those floors already come?
I thought they did.
They're just shipped to the site and they're already painted. The logos are on them. They just need to be put together.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Wow.
Don't worry, tonight it'll be corrected.
I mean, in some places like the Pentagon, you go and there's 4 different 3-point lines on the floor. We can't even get one right in Portland.
It's like playing at the Devaney Center.
Yeah.
You get all those lines there. Yeah, it's embarrassing, and it's a comedy of errors that's taken place in the postseason. And I immediately thought back to, wasn't it right around the post-COVID, the first tournament after COVID, that they had the weight room issue too?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like, oh, they're just having a bad run this year. No, this has been going on for a while, and I'm glad people are bringing their attention to it and trying to get more eyeballs on it.
Well, the coaches just need to go inferno on the NCAA.
Yeah,
that's helped in other sports, but the amount of money and the attention, TV ratings, and advertisers and new people that have been brought into the sport, and the sport just keeps disrespecting the people that actually play the sport. That's embarrassing for the NCAA, but I'm not shocked.
No.
I can't wait to find out what happens today, and also to figure out what Kim Mulkey will be wearing. That'll be my number one thing. I hope they do a pregame interview with her. She was on TikTok yesterday. Or no, she was on TikTok after their win on Saturday with her team.
What's
I
Albany?
love her.
What's Albany known for? Like, give me something historical that everyone knows about
the
Albany.
Albany Patroons of the old CBA. Phil Jackson was the head coach.
Do they have a certain cool mascot or color scheme? Because when she was at Vegas, remember, she had the dice and everything, so she went all Vegas theme.
I don't think there's anything really appealing other than it's the state
Albany.
capitol.
Look outside the window right
Oh,
now.
that'd be cool. She had like a state capitol on the back of her blazer.
It's about
Will
like
it be
that.
sponsored by, was it Coca-Cola? Remember, she was the one suit that she had on not that long ago was sponsored by Coca-Cola. Those suits are for sale.
Who knows?
Yeah, this is why we will tune in.
Yes,
amongst
we will.
other things.
All right, we'll talk about it tomorrow. Good show, everybody. Welcome back. Happy April Fool's Day. That Shaq Fool from Vegas is back. He'll be in the crossover coming up next on 1620 The Zone.